My name's Wreckage. You're listening to Lowering the Tone with Meet Katie.
Right, welcome to episode 16 of Lowering the Tone with me, Meet Katie. This episode I got a chance to catch up with the wonderful Tom and Pat from Evil 9. I have to say I really enjoyed the conversation. You were here, it just deteriorates into a bit of nonsense. But very genuine, very cool guys, and musically nothing short of legends. Just before we get started, I have some big shouts to Lane Snedden, Danielle Davis and Cheyenne Milne. These people kindly donated some money to the podcast via our website. Just head over there and there's a donate button. It's www.loweringthetone.london. From now on they're going to be referred to as benefactors because that's what they are. They keep the show going. And if you want to be a benefactor, head over there and pop a few dollars into our PayPal via the donate button and you will be a hero to thousands. Joking aside, it's greatly appreciated and it really, really does keep us going. Right, enough chat, let's get on with it.
listening to me, Katie, on Lowering the Tone.
Right, time for a few shouts. Brett Bowditch, Joe Jury. Joe won the competition that we run via the Facebook group, so anyone interested in getting involved in the group, just go to Lowering the Tone. It's a group on Facebook, pretty easy to find. Matthew McCurry, Brandon LaFreaky, Volker the Snooze Rancho. Apparently I've met you in Prague. I have to say it was a bit of a haze. Our friends at Kiosex really know how to look after you. My old mate Chadley from Denver, and Mr. Tony Ramirez from San Francisco. Hello Tony, I hope you're well, mate. And last but not least, my Uncle Dave, who listens to the show. Hello Dave. Right, upwards and onwards. worth mentioning, if you're looking for some free music, I have recently remastered a load of my old school breaks releases. They date back from 1997 to 2000 and something or another. If you go to meetkatie.bandcamp, you can download them now. Obviously it'd be nice if you could pop $1 or $2 into the hat. Don't feel obliged. I just think you're a tight ass if you don't. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. Don't forget I've got Evil 9 coming up. And also I'm going to drop it down tempo wise in a little while. So I hope you enjoy that too.
Ciao, sono Riva Star e stai ascoltando Lowering the Tone con Meet Katie. Come on.
you enjoyed the last 40 minutes or so. Moving on into the second part of the show, I'm going to pull things down, but only tempo-wise, not in vibe. Before we get too stuck into this, quick plug, you can catch me at the Crowbar in Boise on Halloween weekend. It's free entry, what more can you ask? Can't wait to catch up with my Boise crew, you all know you are. I'll also be playing alongside my mate Dava, which is a bit of a treat for me really. Wonderful DJ. Can't wait. you like a track listing for the show, you need to head over to lowerinthetone.london and hit subscribe.
Just a sad routine of a golden scheme. Here's your
Casey on Lowering the Tone. Come on.
House music.
Come on. Music.
Right, I'm going to close with something a little bit more summery. This is the last track. Hope you enjoyed that. Right, let's get into that interview.
Exclusive.
For this episode of Lowering the Tone, I've decided to come to Brighton. It's happened overnight, actually. Come visit two of my good friends, Tom and Pat from Evil 9. We're doing this interview in Tom's kitchen.
Kitchen come studio.
Yeah, we've only got kitchen come studio. We've only got two mics, so the recording might be a little bit rough this time around, but I'm sure we can get the message across.
Matches our personalities.
Yeah.
Rough.
And fingers crossed it works, because I spilt wine into my computer last night as well, just after you come back to me and said, we'll both meet up tomorrow, and then I spilt wine all over my computer. So fingers crossed it carries on and we get a recording out of this. Hello guys.
Hey.
Hello, Mark.
Yeah. I'm glad that you had a mishap with your computer like that, kind of, I'm glad that you did that, but
Yeah.
but that kind of haphazardness adds to the kind of, drama of the...
Well, I'm going to get it fixed on Monday, hopefully. But yeah, what a nightmare. So where should we start? We had lots of interest on the Facebook, and we've got lots of questions, but how's things going? What have you been up to? Start at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
What have we been up to? Not finishing an album. Broke my arm skateboarding. Tom's got an awesome cat.
We're not. I wouldn't say we're like the busiest at the moment, but I think after like 16 years of being in the studio, like 5 days a week, 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day, maybe 6 hours a day. 6, 5. But for 15 years, there's a lot of hours. I think we just, it's been not like the easiest road of late. And so I think we've kind of decided to pick and choose our times a bit more and, have like work towards certain specific projects. And I don't think we got the same... impetus to kind of roll out loads and loads of stuff these days, but I think so. I guess we're concentrating on just little events.
It's a lot of small events. It takes a lot of drive to keep
keep the pressure,
keep you going like 10 hours in the studio a day after 16 years. I mean,
no, totally. And I think it's been quite nice in a way that it's organically happened a bit like this, like that we've had a bit more, like Pat gets a bit more time to sort of spend with his son, see him grow up, rather than being in the studio, And like we're doing like other little projects on the side, kind of thing, but nothing really like no great shakes yet. And I'm sure if anything comes to fruition, then we'll let people know kind of what's going on. I mean, I'm trying to do my own stuff as well, but I'm just massively insecure about it. So I think I guess when I feel like it's totally killer, then I'll put it out or whatever. And same with, I'm sure Pat will when he gets around to do some stuff.
Is it dance music? Is it dance based?
The stuff I've been doing. I mean, I'm so because. I mean, it's either like I'm doing some sort of techno stuff and then some beaty stuff, which is what I'm a bit of hip hop as well, and because I guess I'm into all that stuff, so it's maybe that's the thing we were like with Evil 9, like we liked so much stuff that sometimes we weren't sure what we really wanted to be doing, and we tried to. I guess we always just tried to bring it all into what we did, like we never sort of. you know, I guess we never saw the boundaries of a genre. We always saw it like breaking those boundaries, you know, or trying to sort of bring in everything that we liked into that stuff without making it whack, you know, like.
It was, I mean, even mine, you know, I'm not going to
Yeah.
tell you what your sound is, I'm sure you know, but...
No, please do.
No, we could do with some insight into
Could you tell us what kind of music we should be making? That'd be cool.
No, I mean, I just thought that you were kind of the dance act that kind of bridged into the alternative scene very much. Like, I mean, a lot of indie kids really dug your sound.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was. I mean, I think we were frustrated indie musicians at one point. You know, like
Right.
I don't know if that's how I feel about it now, but at the time, I think, you know, when we did a band and we did the second album, I think we were just listening to a lot of like TV on the radio and all these kind of alt sort of New York weirds, you know, and I think that's what we tried to do with the album, not wholly successfully, but you know, like.
Right.
But, you know, we tried to sort of cross over, and I think it was a bit too weird and too niche and too alt, kind of, for a lot of people, you know, and maybe even in retrospect for us, you know, like, when I look back at it, I don't, you know, it's funny with the first album, I've no problems with any of it, I don't think, you know, like, well, maybe a couple of tracks I think are weaker than the others, but as a whole album, I think it's still a really good testament to the time and stuff, whereas I think the second album was a bit more, had its moments, but it was like, you know, and that was kind of when we were deep in the kind of, I don't know if we were that, like, bright or happy personally at the time. I think we were going through quite strange times, like after the first album, and you know, like
Second album
we had a few sort of
It was like that,
yeah,
it was like a stereotypical, difficult second album.
I think we were just
like 3 years or something like that for us to do it, which the first one probably took a year and didn't really think much about it. Whereas the second one, we really, you know what I mean, we had to force it out,
and we didn't have like any immediate ideas, did we? It was a lot of, we had like a vague general idea, and we'd go in and we didn't have, say, we're going to make a track like this today, or we had no real kind of, we just started off, and each time we never really had any, like, I don't know, I think it was like each track was kind of a struggle to get it done, you know? Like, whereas in the first album, they just all wrote themselves, really, you know? A lot of the time, except for maybe like Restless, which we nearly dropped, you know, right?
Really?
We had
it almost killed us, didn't it?
Yeah.
So it was the very last very last track we did
finish,
on the album,
wasn't it? Yeah.
Really?
And it took us absolutely ages.
It was huge, though.
Yeah.
It ended up being a
huge
huge
it
tune.
went on and on and on and on until we hated it, and we're like,
it was so hard to get the beat right, you know, like a lot of the time the beat was really muddy, and it was funny that those days we were so sort of we were kind of so single-minded in a way we produced, you know. It was like we had these rules, you know. I think I was talking to my friend about it the other night, like our own personal rules of how we do it, you know, like we wouldn't do, the beat would be never the same twice in a row, you know. We'd never use 909s to underpin the kick drums or anything, like any programmed drums, really. We'd just assemble these kick drums out of like 6 or 7 kicks from a break, you know.
Well, you had
like,
big chunky beats.
Yeah, I mean
that's your trademark.
It took us like a week to do a beat sometimes, you know, to get it right, and like, it, you know, just because we set ourselves, we'd only sample it all from drums, you know, like from drum breaks, and
even though it took ages, it never got boring.
No.
Even though, did it? Do you know what I mean? We'd like. It's like the same thing. I mean, a week might be a bit of a push, but we spent days with like, right, all we've got is a 16-bar loop of a break. Like, we still got it, but it sounds absolutely amazing, and I'm really caned, and it sounds great, and it's fantastic. But it worked. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, we did all right. So,
but then I think nowadays we're not so.
You know, too many options. Maybe we need those restrictions again.
Hey, maybe that's it, you know. But I think now, in a way, we don't like kind of. I don't know though. It's funny that when everybody puts our own restrictions in, you know. Oh, it's not working.
No, it's still going. We're still on. It just hid itself.
Oh, I can't speak unless I'm being recorded. Nothing.
No, it's still working. That's good. It's good.
Yeah, but it's odd, isn't it, that everyone does. I mean, in a way, it is quite cool, I guess, to have restrictions and say your thing. But I think, maybe the thing to do is have lots of different projects where you have a you know, you say, I'm really going to use this sort of thing, or use these sort of sounds, or is that coming out now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Maybe I'm just talking really quietly.
It's just
Yeah.
For some reason the click's on.
Oh, okay.
I could do it.
Nice.
I was sitting there.
So I can speak in time. Click, click, click.
I can't.
You edit this, yeah? Do you edit this?
Yeah.
Do you edit
Yeah,
this? Not going out live.
My trackpad's got Chardonnay in it.
Trackpad Chardonnay.
We're going to keep going. It's all right.
Chardonnay, yeah.
Trackpad Chardonnay.
Chardonnay, mate.
When we put this up on the Facebook, there was a lot of statements and a lot of people just went, "I love Evil 9. I love Evil 9." Wasn't really asking questions, just telling it, just basically saying how much love they got for you.
I think that's the most worthwhile thing, I think, out of all of this, doing this for me anyway. When I think about what worth, sometimes I think, when times have been tough and you think, what is this all for? Why did I do this for? And then you meet someone who say, oh, your album meant this to me.
Yeah. Find a time in their life. Yeah,
exactly. And that for me is really the most personally satisfying thing from it all, that somebody, it was meant something to somebody, at that time, or they think back to their life and they can tie that to us. And it's like before we met I met the wife, former wife, one of our previous managers one time, and she's a Brazilian girl. And before she knew her husband, she used to listen to our album when she lived in Rome, and she used to walk to the school where she was teaching every day, listen to our album. And so in her, when she thinks back to that time, it's totally, it's totally in sync with our album, basically. And for me, that was just like amazing to hear, because I have those albums, you know what I mean, in my life. So that's really...
And people have had really nice things. Like, people have had their first dance to Crooked. Which is like, which is really odd. You know what I mean? People... like Evil 9 birthday cakes, tattoos.
I've actually even played at the wedding of like two of my really good friends who actually were Evil 9 fans first, but then we became really good mates. Over the fact that they were fans. We met through the music, but but I really love them as people, and I played at two people's weddings now, because they wanted an Evil 9 set at the thing, and that was pretty amazing to do.
Well, the funny is, I've had a few things similar with that where I've met people and they said, I met my wife at one of your shows, and I've met and I fell in love with this girl at one of your gigs.
That's nuts,
and now we're married and we've got kids. And that's happened a few times. I've got three of my friends have met their wives, future wives, at shows.
That's awesome.
It's funny. I've met somebody through my kid at school. One of his friend's parents actually, they split up. And they were arguing about wwho kept the "You Can Be Special Too" vinyl when they split up. It was fantastic.
Wow, that's a deal breaker.
Yeah,
it is, isn't it?
Oh, bless them. Oh well. I wish them all future happiness.
Saying that, I also found 10 copies of "You Can Be Special Too" CDs on the street.
Did he?
Within the same week that I found that.
Have
out.
you got one for me?
No,
you're giving away now.
I've got some in the loft.
Oh, you?
No, I didn't even take them.
Because I saw "You Can Be Special Too" in a bargain.
But
no, in a charity shop. In a charity shop the other day, and I bought it £2. I don't even have it, anymore. So it was nice. I was like,
I've only got one.
Well, when we basically were done with selling vinyl with Lot 49. I went around all the local areas and dropped off loads of vinyl and CDs at the charity shops, and all of the local Kingston charity shops have
still got them.
Of Lee Coombs' album or Lee Force's mix album.
I was about to say they didn't accept them. No thanks.
Yeah, we don't do vinyl anymore. Yeah, I did try and sell all my break promos a few years ago. I sold like 2,000 of them. I got £100 for it. 2,000 in vinyl.
It's bonkers, isn't it? I look back over.
By the way, that wasn't. I did keep the good breakbeat ones. I didn't. I think I'd be quite well if somebody wanted to do a retrospective of new school breaks or that time. I think I pretty much got all the killer ones from that.
I've kept all the ones.
The ones I thought were pivotal, and like ones that really I thought were amazing. And I mean, it's funny actually when you go back and listen to some of these early tracks. Like some of them are still incredible, and it's almost. They've been forgotten about, like a lot of people don't, because it's been tarred by this thing. But in the early times of the scene, it was like there was some amazing innovations going on, and things like Blim's Chronologic and stuff still sounds like crazy fresh to me, like still these days, and quite Detroity, I guess.
That track is absolutely amazing, isn't it? I listened to it. I still listen to it now. I think there's very few tracks I go back to.
The PMT stuff are still raving. In fact, I think Eats Everything put a PMT track on his. He
did a break mix thing, didn't he? Yeah.
Well, that was a because you were friends with
Will.
And before we,
he's in South Africa now apparently.
Oh, is he?
I think so.
Well, before we produced both me and well, I used to call him Billy because I knew him when we were kids.
Oh, really?
He was the drummer in my band before we used to make produce music. We were in a punk band.
Yeah, because I think I had your first album, which was a bit more kind of across the board.
Yeah, a lot of live stuff.
What was it? What label was that on? It was
King Size.
Yeah. I know. I remember it, and I had this 10-inch you had as well, like a kind of blue 10-inch.
Yeah,
or something. It was like
the Ball. That was my first.
Oh, really?
UK single,
cool. And it had you had one with a really big soul, funk and soul sample on one of that first album. I really liked it as well. My friend used to play that all the time, actually. Down here when I first started DJing in Brighton, we had this night called Goggles. It was on
I remember that. Yeah. And
it was like £1 in. I think maybe you even played it.
I did play that. Was that at Richmond?
And no, it was at the Pav Tav, and it was like super hot in there.
Yeah.
Oh, they might have done some of the shows at the Richmond as well. Actually, yeah.
I remember because he was a friend of yours.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. And the Pav Tav, it was like every Wednesday. It was like £1 in, and people like Adam Freeland played and. Yeah, what's the good dude from 2020? Ralph Lawson, stuff like that, And it was like they paid for nothing, because it was like maybe £200 at most, But it was rammed. And it was a crazy night, So every night, and they used to play a lot of stuff, and that's where I first heard your thing. It was like my friend Dan used to play that solely one off your.
I mean, back then, I know Brighton's always a quite a creative hub, and there's always a lot going on. But back then, I mean, the place was on fire.
Oh yeah, completely. I mean, it was like free parties,
all the time,
massive parties.
Every
weekend there would be like Ovingdean party down by the beach, and
the Positive Sounds. Used to do stuff.
I mean, they
do the odd bit.
They do the odd bit now. They're quite
reunion,
old, like us.
Stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. But they still like it. I saw it was Pride the other week, and I played in the garden of this bar called Neighbourhood on St James's Street, which is the heart of the kind of gay pride sort of thing. And Magnus, the guy from Positive Sound, he's doing the sound there. Yeah, he's still doing it.
Awesome.
Still rocking the house music, like tech house. Always tech house.
Yeah, because they used to do ones at Concord, and I remember playing there with Terry.
Yeah, Terry Francis. Yeah. Good times.
Yeah, definitely.
We go back, don't we, Mark?
Yeah, showing our age now. Thanks for the whiskey, by the way. Pleasure. Absolutely lovely.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, it's better than the imaginary whiskey that you bought with you. the whiskey that was promised, Mark.
I actually thought to myself, I can't be trusted around alcohol. I've got to do an interview.
No, that's true. You know what happened last night, didn't you, Mark?
Yeah, I was like, I'll get
the wine. I just have a couple of glasses.
A couple of glasses over my computer. I mean, where do we even start? I'll tell you what, I'll just fire a few questions at you. And I have a question.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What about Marine Parade?
Oh.
What's happening there? What's the story? Yeah.
I think Adam kind of just, I don't know, it functions and serves the kind of the back catalogue, but he's not really releasing anything new on it. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think he was just, for years and years, just putting his own money into it for years. I don't think he really ever made any money, even though he'd sold quite well in some things. I think he was just always just putting his cash in, like it's just that he was just throwing his cash down. And he did, I think it was at the Panty Raid album, or maybe even Our Stuff was the last single on it. I don't know. Maybe when we had.
Sure, might have been Panty Raid.
Yeah, might be Panty Raid, and it did pretty well, I think. But I guess he's just like, we were all that time. It was a changing time, wasn't it, in music, and breakbeat wasn't doing so well, and all this sort of stuff. And I think it was just. I think maybe it just felt like it was too much to carry on, anymore. Sadly.
It's very stressful.
It is, no, I'm sure it is, and not that we had to do that, we just had to avoid.
Because you were synonymous with.
But also, maybe there wasn't a lot of stuff that he didn't really know what he wanted to be putting out then, you know what I mean? Right. I think it was that, and maybe he wasn't, we were kind of more thinking, well, fuck it, maybe we'll do some house music, and because we loved house and techno as well, and we just like, well, we'll do a bit of that for it. It was funny because we did Stay Up, before the 90s thing became really big, but I think we just, and it was
just too early.
Yeah, we kind of too early. But people like Boy George and people like that played it. It was quite a big track. Chucky played it. Chucky, the guy, he was rinsing it and all this kind of stuff. And maybe if we'd carried on, made some more 90s house records straight after it, we might be able to capitalise on it. But as we generally like to do, we just get massively bored straight away. And then want to do something different again, which is maybe not to everybody's taste.
Do you think that's what it is? Is that while you're doing something, you're just moving quickly?
Yeah, I think that's it exactly. We just get bored, and we're just into stuff, so we
just want to try out doing different. You just get bored doing the same record over and over again. And I think we did that a lot with the kind of Evil 9 sound I'm doing fingers, the rabbit fingers now that you can't see. But yeah, I just think we got a bit bored with that. And we're so proud of that sound, but we want to try and do other things, not to be negative about it, but it was, you just want to try other things and keep it exciting.
But also because a lot of other people were doing that after we started doing it. The other people started bringing live bass and stuff and things, and we were just like, I don't know, just made it feel not as special, to us. So we were trying to get the next thing, but then it's like sometimes when you're moving on to the next thing that maybe in your head, half of the people who listen to you just go with you. They're on the same tip, but half of them are like, well, I always prefer the early stuff. And it's like even there's a Woody Allen film. I can't remember what it is now. It's like it's his tribute to Fellini. It's like a comedy, and in it he's like a film director, and these aliens come down from space, and he says, "I'm so and so. I'm this film director," and he goes, "Yes, we know. We much prefer your earlier funny stuff like this." And I'm like, so it happens to Woody Allen. You know what I mean? So he has the same
it's generally pretty.
I think that's just
spot on, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it pretty much happens to everyone. That doesn't it? I think also something you're known for, you're popular for.
I think it takes a lot of more talent than we have to come up with something great.
Well, when you're in the middle of it, when you're actually like in the middle of you're producing the music and it's all going well, it's actually hard to put your head up and go, right, I'm going to enjoy this moment. You're always you're focused on moving forward rather than actually soaking up and enjoying what the fruits of what your labour then.
No, in a way, I think maybe we enjoyed the fruits of our labour a bit too much at one point. You can be special too, because we just kind of partied. We had so many gigs and all the time, and we were just going out getting hammered, and we get in the studio maybe Wednesday, Thursday, I think that's why the second album took so long to come, because we were just too trashed, and then we were like, dude, we need to just maybe not party as hard and kind of knuckle down a bit. So maybe we enjoyed the fruits too much, Mark. I don't know, maybe it's both.
I'm a very fond
but it is that, isn't it? You don't think at the time how incredible it is what we're doing. I guess it just is. You just swept along with it, aren't you?
Well, that's it. I've got a very fond moment talking about them smashing it. Of you guys in Miami one year.
Oh yeah, which one was that?
And that was with. We ended up at. I was with you, and we were watching Radio Slave play.
Oh yeah,
at a morning thing, it started at sort of 5 or 6 in the morning. We went off. And he played.
Is that when Martin Beaver's talking about his penis?
Probably.
In a hotel room. I've still got the video of it.
I remember that as well. Because that's where Ellie, our former manager, she got the nickname The Bean as well after that from us.
Really?
We had this running joke about flicking the bean.
Literally and rolling around in a gutter laughing at the bean at 10
in the morning, coming out of your hotel room and think, after we've been hanging out with you guys, walking down South Beach, kind of at 7 in the morning with all the trash around and all the people, the trannies walking around in their underwear and things like that, and some crazy stuff. Miami was fun, wasn't it?
It was really fun. I remember Matt. Radio Slave played Psycho Killer. He played.
Do you remember? At the time we were we need to make a track
what the fuck is this? Because it was just a loop and it just went on and on and on.
No, that was amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
I remember the hotel. It was like Shore Club or something, wasn't it? Or
down by the oh God, I can't remember now.
But I think my favourite bit about Miami was just hanging out with the English and the Aussies, really, and just taking the piss, and that's really what we did.
Infusion were there.
I was always hanging out
because we always had that. What was it? It was like Johan, Beardy Johan, and Infusion lot, and us, wasn't it? We had like a couple of years where everyone else would go to all these exclusive
Johan
parties.
Asked a question, didn't he?
Oh, he did. Yeah.
What was Johan's question about Pat falling off a skateboard? I think.
I'll better describe it. You've busted yourself up.
Yeah, I'm a 40-year-old man who skateboards, and when you're a 40-year-old man that skateboards, occasionally you'd fall over on your wrist. And
was there kids watching you when you fell off?
No, just other adults who should also know better. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I just hurt the pride a bit.
So Johan was asking how many times can you fall off us? I don't know, somewhere, something like that.
Well, because I'm a little bit stupid. Quite a lot of times.
Did he say, how many times can you fall off a skateboard and still walk away? Well, Pat's tried it once, so he's still walking away.
I walked away, I drove home 10 miles, then drove to the pub, went to the pub, had a few pints, and then went to A&E because I'm that that hard. Apparently,
It's depressing.
You're
When
so
you got to go
hardcore.
to A&E, you just know you're in for a long
I was
wait.
just avoiding A&E. That was all. If I go to the pub and I have a few pints, I know I've broken it. It's fine.
So there's a few people asking the question
Oh,
about
yeah.
your live show. What's happened? Because this has
Well,
probably been on the boil for a while now.
I mean, we did do a live show.
We did one. I'm
Yeah.
not completely sure which one they mean. I mean, we did one
Oh.
for the second album. We did live show, which was the very live, very rocky sounding
Right.
live show, which I think was a bit of an odd one because it was in such good fun, really good fun to do it. It was proper rock band fun.
Yeah.
But I think we used to get booked at like 3:00 in the morning when everyone's really high on
And it was more
pingers.
just rock, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, rock music at 3 in the morning." But
That wasn't the
I'm
one.
not sure if we've ever promised to do another one since.
Okay.
I mean, we did because we did a side project called Marry Our Son for
Yes.
a bit, and at that point we were thinking about doing live stuff, and I think we did do a semi-live thing, didn't we? Or maybe we didn't. I can't remember if it was like maybe we worked it out so we could do it. Basically, I think it was pretty complex again, and I'm not sure how good we would have been at it. Well, maybe we would have been. I guess it would be a working process, but yeah, I don't think we ever arrived on the ultimate way we could do it.
Yeah,
at that
it's
time.
very
I mean,
difficult.
doing the live thing when we did the live with the band and stuff, I think it was partially successful. I think the tracks were cool, but a lot of the time they weren't necessarily that true to the originals. I think a lot of time people want to hear, more like the same stuff. It's like what I was saying to you earlier on about not playing your hits. Like now in retrospect, I feel like maybe if we could have made it a bit more like the originals, and
Like the original, yeah.
do you know what I mean? And all this kind of thing. But I think the culmination of that, I think the best gig we ever played on that was Arcadia at Glastonbury, and that was the highlight of the live, our live
Yeah.
period. I think,
Well, what a stage to
and
put- do
that
it
was
on,
insane. That was really, we went,
A lot of fun.
we'd been basically up for 2 days really, and then we were watching Bruce Springsteen, and we were like, oh man, we need to go over to the Arcadia stage, so we got to play, and after having not slept for 2 days, it was like, and then they have a curtain around, and you open up the curtain, and then you're on the top of this crazy spidery thing, with like all the, it wasn't a spider, I think it was some other thing, but just
And
flame
they had,
around you.
What do they call it? Glory Bridge? No, what's it called?
Where
where
you can walk out into the crowd.
Yeah. And I had a wireless thing on my like MIDI bass thing, and I walked out into the crowd with like the crowd around me onto the whatever it is glory thing. Man, that was great.
Glory
That was quite a
platform.
moment, yeah.
But yeah, it was literally people as far as the eye could see.
Yeah.
You looked out against the field, and it was just like, it wasn't that loud because Bruce Springsteen had gone up like a few more decibels than he should do, and over the whole of the whole of the site, you had to have a certain. It could only be a certain volume, so they had
Right.
people going around. If somebody else is louder over another bit, they have to turn another thing down. So,
Right,
You know what I mean? So it was all right. I bet the sound wasn't that great, but it was still really amazing, really fun to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that was quite nice to go out on the high. I don't think we really had any more shows after that.
I don't think so. No.
But maybe we played Secret Garden as well. That was quite good too. But, yeah, but I don't know. It's like I think we'd love to do a live thing. I think, but it's just how to do it. It's a real like it's a constant sort of. I mean, I'm really impressed when you see people who really can really rock it live.
Yeah.
And it be properly live and not like just noodling over some overdubs. And doing some overdubs over.
I think
like
a lot of our stuff was fairly song based
Yeah.
and vocal based as well. So I think if you go out and do something really techno with loads of equipment and loads
Yeah.
of bits, that's I love it when people do that. That's great. But I think
It's
that
also-
felt quite difficult for us because we had to. I don't know, we always felt like you had to have the hits in there in
Yeah.
some way.
And it wasn't so loopy, like when you got
Yeah,
like in
yeah.
techno, it's really
Yeah.
whatever. You can just bring in loops and it all works over the top. And our stuff's quite specific, it has lots of little details and
Yeah.
things that are quite important, even though they only happen once. So you have like one button to press one sound at one
Right.
point. You know what I mean? And it's not you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
to do
yeah.
it, it's quite complex. I think so.
It
don't know.
is
I
it
guess-
is transferring those
Yeah.
studio things into a live arena without losing the energy.
Yeah, I always find it's interesting when you watch those, those beats done in 5 minutes or something that's on Fat,
Yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah.
and like the ones who are really amazing at it are the techno guys because they know how to throw it up straight away. They've got all these, they've all got their like, loads of outboard stuff and they've got like arpeggios and all this shit and they just get a beat going and it's all like going real fast and suddenly they throw up a whole track, in like
Yeah.
5 minutes. Whereas the dudes like a bit like ours, a bit sampley, bit kind of, there was a guy, Luke Skywalker, who does all the Danny Brown beats who we worked with Danny Brown as well, and he's like really stoned in a studio, and he's like in a hotel room on his little laptop, you know, kind of trying to make things with like samples and shit, and he like literally makes like a tiny little loop in a thing with 3 sounds in it, you know, like for his 5 minutes. It's like, well, that's what I can do in 5 minutes, you know what I mean? And whereas these techno guys, you know, like, I don't know, like Lego Welt or something like that, you know, he's done a whole track in 10 minutes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, but then it's like, it's because it's all to do with just tweaking one noise
tweaking and
stuff.
being repetitive, and kind of,
and tweaking,
yeah,
it's tweaking
sort of
really. You know, when you
building,
samples, you can't. There's only so much tweaking you can't like, open the cut off or whatever, you know, and freak out or some, I don't know.
Yeah,
shit with it. So, so I think that was our problem with the live. It's too specific, almost like that. You know, maybe we need to sort of strip it. I don't know, but whether we'll do that again, who knows? I think at the moment it's more concentrating on just getting some quality tunes out when we do. You know, like. So.
Well, what are your plans in that respect? What have you got in the pipeline?
We've got a new track coming out, haven't we?
We have got a new track with a guy. Dan from Dems or ex-Dems.
Yeah, we had quite a long relationship with these guys.
Yeah, who are great guys. We always really love their music.
Yeah.
So we've got a track called Transitions coming out on our label soon.
Which is called?
Or label.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Beyond the Fields We Know.
That's it.
Which is like, and it's a bit of a mouthful, but it's like, it's after this fantasy author I like called Lord Dunsany. He was this weird kind of old lord in English, and he wrote fantasy books like way before kind of Tolkien and stuff. Wow. And he was like a real inspiration to, you know, H.P. Lovecraft. Yeah. So he was a big fan of Dunsany, and he talks about like the fairy folk in it, and where they live is beyond the fields we know.
Oh, wicked.
And like and I think it's quite a cool thing because, you know, beyond the fields we know, it's almost like it's the places that could come, or where, you know,
out of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
almost, isn't it?
I don't know. It could mean a lot of things. I think that phrase, you know, I like the evocative. We like kind of folky sort of folk art and, you know, forests and woods and all that kind of thing, and it kind of fits in with that kind of thing.
So,
us, you know?
what about the music? I mean, what was it?
Well,
this sound like?
This is kind of like this is like a.
Weird, I know. Kind of,
I mean, it was from the Mara Sun,
techno-y, droney.
Yeah, but it's got a bit of drum and bass. It's a bit kind of like old, you know, Origin Unknown sort of like type of weird, sort of like soaring, sort of diving bass in it and stuff, and like. But it's kind of techno-y as well. But it sort of fits in. I mean, it was an offshoot from our Mara Sun project, which we had loads of stuff.
Offshoot of the offshoot.
Offshoot of that. Well, it's one offcut. I mean, offcut of that. You know.
Right.
And we still got quite a bit of that stuff which we didn't put out, which is in the same vein. It was similar vein to Evil 9. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
that was Mara Sun stuff. Got a little breakier towards the end,
Yeah.
which was kind of telling us something, which is why you probably won't hear any more Mara Sun music. It's morphed back into Evil 9. Evil 9 morphed into Mara Sun.
It's become Evil 9 at the moment has become a bit more like a cross between both worlds now.
Right.
I think again, you know, like a bit techno-y again, a bit more drum. But we sort of got into the old drum and bass flavors again, but more like Doc Scott kind of, you know, the techie kind of slightly moody, creeping sort of stuff. Like we did that EP on Punks, and that was kind of like that, you know, like. Quite minimal, like, or just like rolling sort of break beats, but like with those kind of, you know, just that kind of techno-y soaring. I mean, because that old drum and bass is quite techno as well, you know what I mean? Quite sparse and like, you know, big sounds that sort of echo out over just club music really, but deeper, I suppose.
And I think it's kind of Evil 9's going more and more towards breakbeat again. In general,
definitely.
You sort of naturally going there after.
Well, we're just back into enjoying
Full
it
circle.
again. You know, well,
like it again,
I think it's more just actual breakbeats, though. You know, the more interesting, not necessarily boom cack, boom boom cack, or whatever.
But then it always was. For us anyway, it was always more breakbeaty. I think a lot of other people were doing more electronic kind of program breaks, and we wanted to put more breakbeats into it.
Yeah,
and then we're doing that again, I guess.
And percussion, and I think because I do think. They're not calling it a breakbeat, but there's a lot of broken beat stuff now again. And it is breakbeat, It's for me, you know, because when always people used to say, you know, I play where I think is breakbeat, and people were in the crowd going, "Play some breaks." I'm like, "This is breakbeat to me." You know, this is what it's not like boom cack or whatever. But you know,
but these are cut up breaks.
This is breaks. This is breaks. It's not a hat ball 4 beat. It's a break.
I think we always took music, didn't we? Well, you're the DJ half, but DJ wise, it was. I think that. You were always bringing music from different genres into your sets, which you could call breakbeat. You know
it had that flavour.
Yeah, those flavours in it. It was all kind, you know, lots of people were making non-housey music, not that
Yeah.
with house
Well, a lot of
music, but-
future house has got breaks in.
Yeah, well, that's it.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but even like what they call bass music.
Yeah,
it's
bass,
Like,
yeah.
You got young producers like like Woz. Do you know
Yeah,
Woz?
yeah.
And amazing. And you got Kink making
Yeah,
breakbeat
Kink
tracks,
are wicked,
which are rinsing it out. And special requests, Paul
Yes,
Woolford.
yeah.
I could go on really, but there's a
Paul
lot of
Wolf's
inspiration.
special request is almost like older jungle.
Yeah, they're completely. Yeah. It's quite
Really
that proto
old,
hardcore
yeah.
stuff is really big, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like warehousey sort of sound. Yeah.
But it does sound like it was made in 1980, sort of 89,
Yeah.
90.
Yeah.
It actually sounds, it's very authentic.
No, definitely. I think. I mean, his stuff is a bit more like a reimagining of it, I guess,
Yeah.
isn't it? But like, I kind of almost prefer it when people taking slightly elements of that and
Yeah.
moving it into other things. A lot of the young kids are really doing that. They're kind of taking all the bits they like from
Making
it.
acid house.
Yeah, that again. Yeah.
It's back.
Yeah, I mean, all of these things kind of do come back, don't they? I think it comes around. It's like, but it's like that's the truism of it all. I think there's time for it all, and like people get sick of 4/4 and after a while, and they want to change the beat a bit, and that's really where breakbeat came from,
Yeah,
and like
some reaction to house, really.
Yeah, I mean, house has been prevalent again for quite a few years, and it always will come back round again.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny, like, do you know the guy who writes about the hardcore continuum? Have you seen that guy?
No.
He wrote some amazing articles, I think, for Fact, and it's basically the whole thing is your scene every scene's going to go to shit. Yeah, and like eventually, it just depends how fast it goes. Yeah, so because what happens is you have like a niche scene, a niche. It's like a little niche cool thing that everyone wants to get involved with, and then the more it gets popular, everybody starts jumping on board. The more it gets diluted, the sound, then more people come and try and commercialize it more. You get the bootlegs coming along, and then suddenly your sound is not cool anymore because too many people are into it and too many people make shit stuff, and suddenly everybody's jumping ship. And it happened maybe for the first real time with breakbeat. Like the one that everybody, because when we started doing it was actually cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't like cool. It was actually a cool thing. And then it obviously went into the quagmire. And I think it was funny, like people like Ed Banger and the dubstep lot. I didn't think they thought it would ever happen to them. And then Bob's your uncle.
UK Garage.
Yeah,
and now it's back.
And that's what I mean. So I think there's time and place for it all. But.
It swings and roundabouts with genres.
Yeah, you never know.
Like you say, people want to move on, and like you say, as soon as it's popular, you've got like a mass exodus of people that think, "Well, I'm too cool for that."
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm kind of guilty of the same hipster sort of thing in a way.
I think techno and drum and bass have kind of weathered the storm. Because it's a bit more of a lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? It's lifestyle choice.
But then again, even then though, it wasn't really. It's like they talk about the Brighton techno at one point, which did have a big good scene. You had like Christian Vogel and Jamie Liddell and who else was it? Lots of things. My friend Ibrahim Alpha, lots of like really people who did really interesting and groundbreaking stuff. But then again,
was
Christian and Jamie Liddell.
That was awesome.
That was incredible.
Amazing.
And but then really in their hometown, there was not much support for it. I used to go all the time. I remember going down to the Escape, which is now audio, which was audio, and now it's Patterns.
Oh, right.
And I saw DJ Hell there with 10 people in the audience. So DJ Hell, Christian Vogel, and Jamie Liddell on the lineup, and my friend Flack as well playing 10 people. And John Aquaviva, about 20 people. There's lots of it was insane that days, the amount of amazing people that played and nobody came down to it, and so it's quite interesting really. Techno in some places has always been huge, in Europe and stuff,
Well, I mean in Europe it's just places like Warsaw and Belgrade and
Berlin as well.
Berlin, obviously, Germany's always going to be the sort of centre of techno, but I mean it seems to be very sort of settled. It's
almost like the bottom line. But I mean, I guess everything comes from house, really, doesn't it? House and techno. Well, house really.
Disco.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, And so it's all a variation of that. That's all it is. And now it's just splits every time something new happens. It just goes into you have loads of forks, don't you? And you have loads more weird genres, I don't know. Witch House and stuff like that, which
It's too many genres. I just try and pick tracks.
It's just good music, mate.
Pick tracks that you like and play them, and
and
if you can make them work with other good tracks that you like, then
I have like little time these days, it's like stuff I'm just rediscovering, getting into different genres. And I mean, I've always liked loads of stuff, but recently I just went on a crazy folk music. I was really into folk music for a bit, and I just got I was like, I like folk music, but I didn't know what the really cool shit is, the really good stuff. Anyway, I like the stuff that's kind of depressing, sort of melancholic, sort of love lost type stuff.
What sort of folky stuff do you like?
Recently I've been getting to. There's this woman called Judy Sill who did 2 albums in the 70s, and she was like this crazy this woman. She was like a prostitute, she was like a drug addict, found God, she wrote stuff for Emerson, Lake and Palmer, for the Monkees and things. She wrote these 2 albums, and they're like really mental, like kind of don't sound like 70s. It's like all the vocals double tracked, and it's like really she's a really interesting character, and it's quite mournful, melancholic sort of stuff, but I like that kind of thing. Who else am I into? But there's Pentangle, who from England.
I've heard of Pentangle.
This guy called Bert Jansch, who's he's our Bob Dylan, basically. He died a few years ago, but he was pretty incredible. Who else do I like? I got a playlist. So yeah, just that. I mean, I like select country music as well. But I like the kind of sad and beautiful ones. Ones that like with all like amazing close harmony singing and stuff. So, and I found lots of that by just googling sad and beautiful country music on but yeah, who else is? Where's the other one?
What about you, Pat? What you've been listening to lately as well?
Oh God.
Nick Drake, Terry Reid.
Listening to much music actually. This morning I was listening to the new Frank Ocean album. Which was really good.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's quite similar to the last one, but it's quite good. Yeah, quite a bits of I don't know. I think people like Young Thug and people like that. Hip hop wise, I think is amazing.
So you're still well listening to the hip hop.
Yeah,
still enjoying the hip hop.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and it's funny because he's Young Thug's kind of like quite a crazy dude, he looks pretty out there. He wears like dresses and shit like that,
really androgynous,
and he's got this craziest voice. It's like he sings through autotune a lot as well, which I know a lot of people hate on, and fair play to them, but I feel like autotune sort of transcended what it was. It's become this thing now, like so many people use it, and now it's become almost like another instrument, and if people use it interestingly, it can be really amazing, I think.
I saw
again
talking of autotune. I saw a fantastic comment from Darren, Freak Nasty.
Oh yeah.
Why do people get chucked out the Olympics for taking performance enhancing drugs? Yeah. But it's okay for people to have auto-tune tracks in the charts. They should be kicked out the charts.
Yeah, because they didn't do it properly. It's funny. I found myself at a party with Sven Vath one time, and he was saying some hilarious shit. And it was like one of the things he was talking about was he was going, I don't see why you don't have you don't have drugs at the Olympics. I want to see people take more drugs at the Olympics. I want to see mutant Olympics. He was like, mutant Olympics. I want them to be taking as many performance enhancing drugs as possible to see what was possible with the human, comparison of these things. Like, why don't they have like that? I mean, what's to say? The drug Olympics, the performance enhanced Olympics. When you have these super human kind of like mutant athletes who are like, I don't know, pumped up and ready to like go batshit at any, like super pumped, but kind of like super aggro as well, because they're like really shitty off their like roid rage sort of vibes.
Roid rage.
You came in third. Oh, what the fuck, man! I fucking smashed the umpire up and stuff like that.
Just turned into fights.
Yeah, but I thought that was awesome. Mutant Olympics.
Well, I mean, he's a pretty character. He's a character.
He's an amazing guy. I do think he's amazing, actually. Like, I used to see him because I went on tour with him a few times in Australia. I didn't meet him really then, because I always used to see him like last at the party, in his gold lame, gold lame skin tight sort of trousers, like with makeup running down his face, just surrounded by a crowd of 16-year-olds, but he's still playing this vinyl, like about 7 in the morning, last up, And I thought, man, is that a bit dark? I don't know, at his age, kind of doing that. But when I actually spoke to him, I was like, this guy is super switched on. He's like, his brain isn't melted at all by all this kind of stuff, And I think he spends half the year partying it up hard, and then he spends half the year and just detoxes. And
I heard he gets a full
for blood transfusion. But they said that about Keith Richards.
I don't know if that's true or not, but it's a nice story.
It all adds to the Sven Vath myth, isn't it? But he's a cool guy, man. He's an interesting guy, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the cooking's always kicking it. He plays amazing sets.
Yeah, I mean, I remember because when I was growing up, there was a club called The Orbit in Morley, which is right by Leeds, and it was like the heart of like that hard techno kind of scene at the time. It was like Beltram and Sven Vath used to go there all the time. I had a really good chat to him about. So I saw him a few times then, but it was really banging. It was proper techno. Yeah, in a weird little place outside.
I saw Dave Clark last year, and he was smashing the shit out of it, playing vinyl as well. Yeah, getting through a lot of
super banging,
super banging, and it was and I mean he was probably getting like I don't know he was probably playing like maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes of a track, and it was off. Do you know what I mean? It was just like a massive load of vinyl just everywhere, and it was just on, just
crazy
like power mixing.
That's nuts, isn't it? To do that. I mean, I've never really done that. So,
I mean, that kind of techno, it really had a moment. Like Richie Hawtin used to do that as well.
But he doesn't do that at all now. I'm not really familiar to what he's doing at the moment, really. Hawtin, so
I lost a little bit of interest.
He kind of been a bit.
It went really, really minimal. And he just lost me a little bit. I'm not saying it was bad. It just he lost me personally.
Yeah. The last thing I saw of him was when he played the Bananarama track. I think Long Hot Summer or something.
No way.
Like in Ibiza, it was on a boiler room or something, and everybody was hating on it, like massively so. But he can play that if he wants. So good. Bananarama. Why not? Why not? I play I'm a Dreamer sometimes. I still love that actually. But.
Talking about parties, because we did have Christian there. I'd like to ask you. What standouts have you had that really spring to mind?
Have you got one, Pat?
Well, nights or just a single?
Yeah, nights or events or.
I can think of one immediately. I always say it, but it was one of the which is Igloo Fest we played in Montreal.
In Montreal,
and that was like the most nuttiest probably I've ever played. It's in the winter.
Midwinter,
so it's minus 25.
Minus 25.
And you get there,
freezing.
And it was like, I mean, they give you a Canada Goose jacket as part of the thing, so you can just, you actually have the jacket. I never wore it actually, and I took it back with me. I sold it for £600 on eBay. Anyway, but and it was like deep snow around everywhere, and like when I came through the customs, I was like to the customs officer, why do they even have like a festival out in the winter? And she was like, well, if they don't, then they don't do anything. If we don't do it, it lasts so long in the winter that and like literally it was so cold that me and Pat were both probably wearing 4 pairs of socks each, and it's still our feet were like ice blocks, and like I was DJ, I couldn't wear gloves. We were out in because outside, it's festival outside in minus 25, and there's a stage. And it's got these huge ducts on it, which are pumping hot air onto the stage. But it's so exposed, it's open, that it doesn't really get to you that the heat, Right. And like, whereas everyone in the crowd is all wearing ski gear, and they're all like packed really closely together. And I think the fact that it's so cold is everyone just goes completely apeshit. Every track you play, they go mental because they all jump for fuck. Because it's so cold.
Bonkers being outdoors.
It's like 1,000 of them all stuck together, just going mental. And the biggest response from any festival I think we ever played. People went just
I've heard
crazy.
Really good things.
It was amazing night, and like incredible sort of production as well. So like round the side is all lasers and incredible like screens all around the thing, and then it's just like smoke and like everyone's breath in the air, and it was insane, man. It was amazing. And we played with Adam. And I can't remember who else, but it was just, it was so good, so good.
Yeah, that was really cool.
But I put my eyes down.
Exit was really cool as well, wasn't it?
I remember
being quite kind of blown away by.
Well, Exit Festival was odd because also we were going to play with Infusion, and did we play twice or just play once? I can't remember. But that one, we got to the airport and I said, which I've never said before or since, I said to my friend Frank in Infusion, you know what, it's crazy, like I've always we put my records in, I've never had a problem at all, like I said to him, and the queue, never had a problem with my records.
All their gear,
when you couldn't go straight to Serbia for Exit, you had to stop in Vienna, and when we got to Serbia, they were like, oh, you haven't got your records. We've left your records in Vienna, but it's all right. You can pick them up tomorrow morning. I was like, that's no good. And but more fortunate than that was like Infusion had all their gear for playing live was left in Vienna, so they couldn't play their set at all. But I had like this small booklet of like CDs, and like so I had just played. We had to play their set and ours, so 4 hours on a tiny little booklet, and that's when I changed over to CDs basically, because I was like, you know what, it's not worth it, is it?
No. It was good fun though, wasn't it?
Is your mic working?
He's just not saying.
Yeah, no, my mic's no. I was just listening to you.
But yeah, that was amazing.
That was
because
is that the one where Juice
got really drunk.
Is it Juice who doesn't drink well? I think
he maintained he got spiked though.
He says he got
MC.
spiked. Juice where he kind of he went to he needed to go to the toilet mid set and he had a wireless mic and he disappeared and we were just not saying you could through the PA you could just suddenly just hear him alone in a cubicle just going release the beast.
No.
He's like talking us through his urination, and it's like
it was so funny when like walking through the crowd afterwards with him, and he was so off his face. I think he must have been spiked or something because he was so out of it, and he turned into Mr. Tickle. He'd be like grabbing girls' bums and hair as he walked past them. We'd be like juice, put juice over there,
put juice over there.
But he was amazing, that was great. We used to take Juice out with us quite well when we could afford to. And it was really great to have. He was a great MC because he wouldn't like chat all over everything. And he was more different than a lot of. He'd say weirder things.
He just wanted to be more creative.
I guess that's it. More
enhance the set.
More from a hip hop side of it all, rather than from the kind of drum and bass. Ooh-wee or whatever you say. And as we carry on.
That's interesting. I mean, I've never played Exit. But again, it
was incredible.
It's a very famous festival.
I mean, there was even early on. We played early on the night. There was 4,000 people watching us, and like in this thing. But like when we came back in the morning, when Sasha was playing, and it was like something like 30,000 people. And
really,
it was insane. It's like, and he played. Those days he used to play a cappella for Lovers Not Fighters that we gave him because he was really into the track and like. I mean, Sasha's on and off over the years has been quite supportive of us.
At one point he really was, wasn't he?
Yeah, but maybe we're not on the same tip at the moment, possibly.
Well, he's really on Niels Fram. He's really on that
modern
classical.
Yeah.
He's really on that. He's just done an album with on Late Night Tales, which is a friend of mine.
Yeah. Isn't that his label? Is it? Or is that?
No.
It's not James Avilius.
No. It's Paul from Azuli.
Okay.
When Azuli disbanded, Paul set up. He took over Late Night Tales, and he's done the Niels Fram album. I mean, that he's just done Bonobo.
Oh yeah, he knows Simon as well.
He's done John Hopkins, and he's just doing Sasha's album, which is very filmic.
Yeah,
but I played with some of the remixes that they've had some techno remixes.
And they're amazing.
Blinding.
Yeah, it's having the parts, isn't it? If you've got parts like that,
I mean, production's just seconds.
Yeah. Because we're really good friends with Harley, who's Sasha's tour manager.
Right.
So I think a few times, probably one of the biggest times we played in Ireland as well was after Sasha, because we know him a bit, like I said, over the years, and we played after Sasha in this one tent, and it was like maybe 6,000 people, and it was really nerve-wracking, you know what I mean? And literally maybe a third of the tent left when we got on, but they all came back, which is nice, But so that was cool. Yeah, hasn't always happened like that. I mean, we used to play Groove Armada a few times at the end one time, and they booked us to play after them. And after Groove Armada finished, pretty much everybody in the whole club left. There's like 100 people left or something.
My favourite one of those was the one year we were. I'm not sure what happened. We were booked to play Coachella one year. Something went wrong, and we didn't get to this. They promised us another date the next year.
Yeah.
And then we were supposed to. We were second to last. We were on, I think, and it was Faithless after us.
Oh, and the Coachella one, yeah.
Coachella. Did I say Coachella? Yeah. And basically they came out. Their management came up and they went, "Hey, they'd really like to swap sets with you, and you can headline." And we were like, "Cool, we can headline the dance town at Coachella." So we were like, "Wicked, we'll do that then." So they went on before us, and we were like, "We're gonna absolutely fucking kill it now. We're gonna headline dance at Coachella." Well, they didn't tell us as we were up against Bjork and DJ Shadow, and everyone just left.
Yeah, but it was also they carried on. They went past their curfew thing, and also after that, then it was like half an hour complete dead silence. We couldn't just come straight on after Faithless. It was like it was half an hour in the tent of silence. So everybody just left, and and like Pat said, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Bjork, and DJ Shadow to go up against.
So Faithless. I genuinely hope that you now can't sleep. Can you sleep at night now?
After that, knowing what you did to us, Faithless. But it still was great. Anyway, we had only a third of a tent in Coachella, but it was still cool though. Yeah, it was Coachella, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was great just to hang out, just to play there. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's quite.
Do you go to America a lot still?
Not anymore. No.
No.
We haven't got an American agent. You know, when we stopped making commercially viable stuff, it was kind of, you know, they dropped us. But we'd still be up for doing some American shows. We just haven't got anybody to represent us over there.
Right. And we're not nicely.
They did. He's a very sweet guy. He's a really good friend of ours. So, you know, but he was just like, you know, when you write a big hit album again, we'll have you back. You know?
Which is fair enough.
And we're still waiting.
When it's really easy to get your gigs.
Yeah. They'll have us back then. But whoa, wind's kicking up. But no, we had some amazing times in America. You know, we travelled across the States with Carl Cox for like 3 week on a 3 week bus tour, and that was amazing. You know, and I think probably the best one was with the Crystal Method. We stayed in 3 weeks, and we did a show every night with them. You know, well, pretty much had 2 days off in the middle of it all.
That was painful.
It was
painful. Good.
It was hard for Pat. Pat finds it quite hard to sleep. And we were really, well, they were, but they kind of not as much beasts as we thought. I mean, I absolutely love them. They're amazing dudes. You know, but at the time we were kind of like, we heard they were proper party, you know, but when we got there it was kind of like they both had, you know, Scott had his fiance then, I think he was maybe married even, and you know, Ken was like with a long-term girlfriend, and it was like they went up for like the strip clubs and cocaine, and we were kind of maybe more, we thought that was going to happen more. But it didn't.
I did wake up at about 7 o'clock, wake up.
You got the settling down years.
Yeah, but we had our moments on the tour, obviously, because of the tour, but
I get Ken waking me up going, Pat, let's go get some cocaine. And like 7 in the morning, I just put my head down. It's like, come on. It just ended up in someone's basement at like 7 o'clock in the morning. Literally basement, but it was, I don't know how welcome that was. Really, Ken? Or was it Scott? It was one too.
Yeah, it was Ken.
Which one's which?
But yeah, it was amazing. And on that tour as well, there was a few cool things. Like I remember we were in Chicago and we played the show in this huge big theatre type thing. And as we came off, they said, there's this night going on beneath this sushi bar around the corner. So we ran that sushi bar downstairs into the basement, and James Holden was playing there. 20 people. Yeah, 20 people just DJing. The corner. It's like, oh, cool.
I heard a funny story about James Holden. He's playing at you know, when he's Earth Dance festivals, they do a party all over the world on the same day, the same night, called Earth Dance. It's time to raise awareness about the Earth.
Yeah, nice.
He got booked to play in an Australian one, and he was the headline act. And he went out there, and a friend of mine, Jono Fernandez, told me this story because he was sort of like looking after him. Yeah. He said so he set all his gear up. It was all set up, and he goes, and then what they done is like he was out in the bush, and he said as you know, they kind of announced him. All the lights come on, all these bright lights shining. He goes, every bug, every mosquito was dropped, and he just saw him for the whole second. Oh no! Just being bitten to fuck. He was like a beacon for every bug in the bush. And he just said, he was just standing there wetting himself, going, "Oh my god!"
Trying to get through it.
Trying to get through it. He was just slapping himself. You could see these bugs just attacking him.
God, that's mental. That's horrible. That's a bit of an ordeal. Poor old James. Yeah. I'm sure he does all right though.
I'm sure he does all right.
Bless him. He is pretty amazing, I think.
Right, so thanks, guys.
So, is there any more questions? Like Haxan, that one. What inspired Haxan?
Yeah.
Like, well, the track was like the track went through quite a few different incarnations, didn't it? Because we tried to get this. We were trying to work with that vocalist. I can't remember his name now. Do you remember the guy who wrote that kind of thing about pimps and hoes and sort of? He was a singer really, but he did a kind of more jiggy thing.
Goody Mob. I forgot his name now.
It was a shame because
CeeLo.
No, not CeeLo. It's
that's not Goody Mob.
Producer as well, but
no, CeeLo was in.
Danger Mouse.
No, CeeLo was in Goody Mob.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
he was.
I can't remember.
He was, yeah. No, but this guy, he was a really amazing guy, and but we thought he'd do a bit more of a singy sort of thing, but he came out, it was a bit more kind of gangster sort of flow on it, kind of thing. And we thought for a while maybe we put it out with the vocal, and it was quite a cool vocal, but what he said, I thought in the end was maybe not quite what we wanted, so we changed it again. And did it have a vocal? I don't think it had a vocal in the end, did it? I can't remember. Don't think so. But anyway, so we put that. The track went out instrumental in the end. But the name comes from this old film called Haxan Witchcraft, and it's like a 1920s film. It's quite a groundbreaking movie. It's like at the time it was all about witchcraft, and like it's all black and white, but really mad visuals, and really groundbreaking and cutting edge for the time. And they say it's one of those influential movies, but it's really a mad movie. And in the 70s, William Burroughs did a version of it where he did the narration of it. So it's like William Burroughs narrating about witchcraft on top of this thing. So that's where it's from.
Okay. Another one. Where did the name Evil Nine? I know you've been. I know this is a proper.
Yeah,
box.
thanks.
I know.
Who was it? Who are you? Maybe I can't see your name now.
Set of Legends.
You're the one.
So maybe not on that one.
Wrong page.
Where
was it? I think didn't we just take we wanted to put the word evil with a number, and we counted up until the number sounded right, and it was Evil 9.
And then 9. It's also aesthetically, it kind of looked nice together, 2, 5. What's it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 letters each in each one, each character.
9 are there 9 rings to bind the other? How many rings?
That's what you mean, the Lord of the Rings. It's funny because a lot of people have like theories, on why we
an anti-gun thing as well, isn't it?
Is it
anti-9mm? Aesop Rock actually was one for. He was like, "Hey, is that
it's anti-9mm
kind of gun thing?"
Evil 9mm, because that's where that was
Jeff Taylor.
Jeff Taylor, name and shame him.
Jeff Taylor.
You're the guy that asked where the name came from. Unfortunately,
and what's your favourite? What's your favourite colour?
That's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think probably black.
Evil black.
Brown.
Yeah, I don't know. I think also it's kind of weird because Emerson, Lake and Palmer have got a song called Carnival 9. Yeah, but it's in that sense it's carnival,
Right, yeah.
It's Carnival 9, really, yeah. But and so it was nothing to do with that. But Pat's got a copy of that record in his record collection, so maybe through osmosis.
But weirdly,
it might have been there.
And it's a charity shop record that I bought. And it's in a different cover. It's in something like, I can't remember what the cover is.
The plot thickens.
Even weirder, yeah. Even vaguer.
But yeah, I think it's all about aesthetics, isn't it? You just choose a name, and it's like we did like this EP, this demo, and we recorded it onto cassette tape, and that's how we got signed to Maroon Parade. Yeah, because we sent it out to loads of labels, and I think even then it wasn't the thing to do to send it on cassette, Even then, it was people put on CDs or DATs,
Right. Yeah.
And but I think we were just because when you start off, you just massively. We were kind of naive about everything. We were worried, paranoid that people steal our music and things. We didn't really know how to safeguard that shit. And it was like, so we just thought cassette, because nobody's going to be able to do a thing. So we made all cool cover and stuff and sent it out. And I think most people just put it in the bin. But we knew this girl Gemma, who I've told this story so many times, but. This girl Gemma, who was Gem, she was a pop act called Gem as well, who was quite popular at one point. And she was in the AC and stuff and all this kind of malarkey. And she was a friend of ours, and she was a friend of Adam's, and because we gave her the tape, she listened to it, And she was like, "Oh, Adam could be into this." And literally within the week, Adam rang us up, and we were around Pat's house, and he was like, "This is Adam Freeland," and I'd been travelling then, and I'd heard his Coastal Breaks. And Marine Parade was the label we wanted to get on, and Bieber put out, Chief Rocker and all those things. We were like, wow, this label's really nuts, And
been in Brighton as well.
Yeah, that's it. And Adam just literally moved to Brighton as well at that point. So he rang us up, and we went around his house, and he had no furniture. We sat on his carpet. The first time we ever met him, we were on these huge baggy jeans and stuff, just huge. And we both sitting like cross-legged on his carpet, huge baggy jeans, and being a bit like old ravers, and we just talked about music, and we didn't release anything after the demo, but he just gave us some good A&R advice, and I think that was really helpful for us, and then we made Less Stress, which was our first big EP, and that was, I remember that was featured in ID, and that was, I think, the only time we've ever been reviewed in ID.
Well, there was a fashion mag back then with the cover, the tiny bit of music
at the back, but it was quite a cool thing to get in.
I mean,
it's so funny.
It was very difficult to get in.
Yeah,
that was when the Face was around.
ID,
trying to get,
and they literally had a tiny little bit at the back each time, both magazines.
But they were really, really popular magazines.
Yeah, no, incredibly.
I used to buy ID. Every month. Loved it.
I mean, it's interesting ID even to this day, but like a lot of the magazines, they just go and do the same thing, don't they? Release and but I think one of our funniest reviews was we got Album of the Week in Zoo mag for for You Can Be Special too, which is hilarious, wasn't it? That's our clientele, obviously. Young boys. Young boys who can't by Paul Mag.
So you say that, but you forgot Mark's review of our Ills remix in Mix Mag.
What was that?
Like a really, really piss-taking.
Is it scathing?
It was
Oh man, but like one
it
time
was piss-takingly scathing.
but then one time I remember also like I did when Paul Arnold used to do his reviews in the back of, I don't know if it's what it was Mix Mag or DJ Mag, I'm not sure, but we were guest reviewers for that one. I think maybe it was just me, I'm not sure. And he gave me we reviewed Rennie Pilgrim's Helicopter tune remix or something, and I think I said it was not as good as I hoped it would be because I liked Rennie Pilgrim stuff. But Rennie was really pissed off at me about it. Like later, when I met him in Miami, he took me to task about it and said, "Look, if you're going to say, if you're not going to say anything nice, don't say anything at all, or something." And I didn't think it was too bad, what I said. But maybe it was. It's a minefield. It was just like
you have to like it.
But like it's funny because I say that, but then. One of the questions was what tune got you into dance music, and I must say that partially responsible was Rennie Pilgrim's Place Called Acid. Yeah. So I may have dissed your later tune, Rennie, but I fucking love that one.
Yeah.
So it's all good, mate. Can't like everything.
Preferred your earlier.
Yeah. Only saying that because that's what we get all the time.
I prefer your
earlier stuff. Like I said to you, Woody Allen gets that too, doesn't he?
Yep.
It's all good.
So yeah, we're still harbouring a grudge against that review you gave us.
Mark, yeah, you bastard.
I think I know. Adam used to get it hard off me.
I know, yeah. When we were so competitive, at one point it was competitive because we were all just close. It was your close, it was your peers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We were all like looking at what each other were doing and feeling kind of competitive, which is healthy, I think.
Yeah, oh, completely.
But, we were young.
Well, I was told. I used to do reviews for DJ Mag, and Leslie, who was the editor at the time, she used to say like, do 4 you love, do 2 that are okay, and do 2 you hate.
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Right, because
hate's more good copy, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
think the idea was that like, don't just say everything's great if you don't think it is.
Yeah. No. Well, it'd just be boring, wouldn't it?
Freestyler's got it once, and Matt Cantor pulled me up on it years after. He goes, it just really got to me. And I can't even remember what I said. It was.
I can imagine. I mean, at the time, I think you do feel it.
It would have been along the lines of I'd prefer the earlier stuff.
Yeah, yeah, like everyone says, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, but it's a hard one, isn't it? Sometimes, especially when you make the biggest tune you ever made, one of the earliest ones you ever did, like what we did. Like with Crooked, we're never going to really surpass that.
Early in your career.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's quite hard to sort of. Much to I absolutely still love Crooked, and I still really think it's a good tune. Quality tune, but yeah, it's quite hard when you do have a really early success, and then you try and sort of I think you just can't think about trying to make the tune. I think we were thinking that because each time when we actually made Crooked, we'd had real success with K-Cole, which somebody else says where that sample was, didn't they, from K-Cole, but which is from we're not sure, but I think it's from a self-help tape thing.
Like a really dodgy borderline.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, probably like one of those free ones you get. I think it was really bad quality and stuff as well, wasn't it? We had to change. But anyway, so K-Cole, we made that, and I think that was a real epiphany for us. At the time when we made that, we were like, oh, this is how we can make tunes. This is how we can make what we want to make. And when we made Crooked, it was literally just trying to remake K-Cole again. Right. And it
also remember us kind of like in the studio saying we'd like to make. I can't remember which track, or something from Blue Lines as well. We were like, we want to make.
Yeah.
Oh, like a breakbeat version of
Unfinished Symphony.
It ended up nothing like that. But apart from a little string at the end.
No, but it is kind of has that vibe. It's that rolling sort of deepness with things over the top. So it just rolls on and has the uplifting strings. In a sense, it is Unfinished Symphony. Like maybe the string bit comes in at the end, and
it's just unfinished.
Yeah. There's one kind of dodgy sample in Crooked as well. I'm not going to say what it is, or even say what kind
of
thing
it is.
There could be several, but like, and I always thought somebody was going to notice where it was from. Like
get rumbled.
Yeah, I really thought. Anyway, nobody to this day has spotted what it is. And it's really big in the song as well. Maybe I'll tell you off for the thing, just in case somebody's going to come back and get retrospectively royalties or whatever. But then it's because the other night we were who was around? Oh yeah, my friend Alex Luvian, he did a remix for one of our Mao. He's a good friend of mine, but he did a remix for one of our Mao records, and he's just been signed to Ultra Music, and we were talking about who sampled that site, and we checked out how we sort of scored on that, on who sampled, like to see, what are our tracks and which ones they spotted out of all the really dodgy samples that we've used. The only ones that they got was like the break from Stay Up. The one, the PPT one. What's the break? In Stay Up, the one in the middle. PPS is the one. Yeah. Anyway, it's a big break in the middle of that.
Schoolie D one.
Schoolie D break.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody spotted that, and then somebody spotted the break from We Have the Energy, that one.
Okay,
You knew that one as well. But they should they're not
I don't remember what that break.
Yeah, I mean, you can find out through resample, mate.
I will do. But I think we were always really conscious when we were doing something creative with those samples, or
so
using
not
them out of context, or using something nobody else had used.
Because we still love samples. I mean, I know, and it's like from the
it's inspiring, isn't it? It leads you in places you would never go if you were programming.
Yeah,
I just think also as well that we had that big kind of like that sort of like DJ Shadow kind of influence as well, of doing everything with samples.
Yeah,
that was quite inspiring to us.
Right,
you want to do everything with samples, and I don't know if you can kind of make records quite like that anymore. Where everything is like, because it was big.
But I noticed people getting away with more samples these days.
Yeah,
I think it's because they
Shadow,
totally. You can't do that now. You need to clear it all if you're like. But even for like where we're at now, we can probably get away with
sampling.
Yeah, because it doesn't sell as much. People don't notice the samples, or they don't think it's worth their while to come and like take us to court about it. You know what I mean? Which is really, but it's funny. It's funny because you noticed it with like Bauer. For example, Bauer with like Harlem Shake. That track that was huge, and he made that as a little bedroom DJ in his studio. And later on he got pulled up on this sample he used from some Mexican guy or something. And and he got really done, and people going, "Why do you use this sample?" He's like, "Dude, I was in my bedroom with just playing stuff to my mates. I didn't expect it to what I mean."
Didn't expect to create a genre, which is still here.
And it's not like it's necessarily, maybe now if he was bigger, he would use something to replace it, and he could probably do it just as successfully. But I think the good thing about samples is immediately you've got a vibe, like it's already got its own texture and it's got feel to it, And like, so you
texture's the perfect word for it.
Yeah, it's texture in its own.
It brings some, it brings something organic to the proceedings.
It puts it in a space as well. Do you know what I mean? It puts it in a certain place. You've got the ambience of that.
So we still love samples, and we're still sampling loads, and just hoping we're not going to get found out. But.
No, there was a nice quote from Carl Hyde from Underworld, and he said it's not what you sample, it's what you do with it.
Yeah, totally.
And I just love that. It's true. It's
yeah, but even then, I still love the whole idea of just picking. I like those even ones that guys who just pick the really good loop, but it's like an amazing loop, and they don't have the
King of Snakes.
That's like
Donna Summer. I feel love. I mean, nobody touches that because it's so big. Yeah, and they done King of Snakes. A fantastic tune. So I mean, it's what you do with it.
Yeah, no, totally. Or even just noticing that you can do something with it. Or, you know what I mean? I think I don't know, like. It's like things like "Burning" by Peppy Reddock, one of my favourite ever tunes. And that is the strings is what makes it, and that's just a big sample off a old funk record. It's Freddie Hubbard or something who who made that.
Talking of big tracks, Towards the Sun remix. I mean, that's my favourite, like hands down. Cool. When I heard it, a guy I was in. Sorry, that's my son doing overtime at the moment.
He's doing slam dancing in the background.
He's doing a bit of break dancing in your kitchen.
Adds more authenticness. Authenticity. The whiskey's taking effect.
I played in Tel Aviv, and a guy who picked me up, who was the promoter. I can't remember his name now.
He's not Elias, is it?
You'd played for him. You'd played for him.
Yeah, I think it's Elias.
And you'd given him this. Before it was out.
Oh, really?
Right, and he got in a car and he played it, and it came on, and I just went, "What the fuck is this?" Yeah. And he went, "Oh, it's Evil 9. It's their remix of Future Past." I was like, "Oh my god!"
Wow! Cool.
It blew my brains.
Oh wow!
I because it was so thick.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
It had everything. I was trying to do Timbaland. That was really.
It was so good, so good.
Yeah, I mean, we were so obsessed with Timbaland that era Timbaland.
But I liked Timbaland too.
I mean, he's big.
I liked.
He was trying to put it into that context. You know what I mean? Like, but it's hard to do that kind of thing. I think because since we tried to really do that again, like that kind of beat with what we're doing, it's tricky to kind of get it right.
The attention to detail within the beats.
Yeah.
that makes it sound like a loop, but there's tons of stuff going on.
Yeah.
You know, I totally get it. Absolutely get
thanks,
it.
Mark. We had like a pretty mental time in Tel Aviv, you know, because we went there. This is kind of an interesting story. Well, maybe it's not. We'll see. I don't want to preface that with like you can make up your own mind whether it is or not. But like it was from after the Breakbeat Awards. I think after the breaks poll, it was at the Egg. I think at the time. Yeah. It was like in Street or whatever. Yeah, and like I remember Heidi was there at that time as well. And anyway, la la la. But that night that next day we had to go to Tel Aviv and like to play, and we had to wake up pretty early, and we obviously went to bed pretty late, and we stayed at Pat's girlfriend's mum's house that night, and Pat was meant to wake us up, but his alarm didn't go off, did it? And we were just suddenly got the alarm. We were like literally, I don't know, half an hour before the gate was closing. We had to wake up, or an hour before it.
And that's the story.
Yeah. No, we had to basically run.
But we made it.
We had to run to the plane. So we thought that was the thing for the day, you know, that was the issue. But when we managed to make the plane, we were like, phew, our troubles are over, you know. And then we got to Tel Aviv and got to the counter, and they were like, business or pleasure? Yeah, nah, mate, basically. Business or pleasure? We were like, business. We got to think, well, you haven't got the visa. And we were like, no.
Pleasure?
Yeah. So basically, they took us in this room and they surrounded us with guys.
Like 13 hours.
Yeah. It was like 5 and 6 hours, but it was, nearly 13 hours sounds better, but it was at least 6 hours. And we're literally there surrounded by guys with automatic weapons, and we were trying to get through to the promoter and our embassy, even things like that. We were like, you know, and they were just, you know, just asking us questions, surrounded with automatic weapons. Took us over to this one bit, strip searchers, swabbed all my records, you know, for drugs, didn't find anything. And then we thought, well, at least they're probably doing that so they're going to let us in now. They were like, nah, you're going back on the next plane, mate. That time I was like, fuck it then, fuck it, mate. I'm going on the next plane, just take me back. And they said, when is that? Oh, tomorrow at midday. And we're going to take you to a jail on the other side of the airport, and you're going to wait in there. You're going to wait in there until we fly you back. So we're like, fine, okay. They take us over to the jail on the other side. And when we get there, the guy starts taking everything out of our bags again, you know, like getting through it. And we're like, dude, the guy just looked through our stuff, you know. But okay, whatever you want to do, mate, you do it. And then the phone rang and they were like, oh, you can go in now. And we were like, what just happened there? And basically, the promoter knew the son of the Minister of the Interior, but he lived in London. So they had to ring their mate up in London and say, hey, mate, do you think your dad can help us out? We've got 2 DJs stuck in thing. So he rang his dad, who's the Minister of Interior. Minister of Interior rings up the airport and says, you've got 2 English DJs, let them in, basically.
No way.
And yeah, and so they were like, you're properly connected, son. I don't know how you did that, you know.
We're like royalty after.
Yeah.
And not only that, because we thought we were playing the next night as well.
So we thought, at least we got a night
At least
off.
we can have a night, you know, we can chill out, we can do this thing. And the promoter was like, no,
you're
it's
going
tonight.
straight to the club,
So we went
mate.
straight to the gig. And
After all, after 6 hours in customs, straight to the gig.
13
hours. So there you go. Interesting or not, you decide.
They may have left by now.
Yeah.
Makes you think they're still listening.
Hello.
Honestly, got some more fun stuff to hear, honestly. So but that was really amazing. That was an amazing gig though, and Tel Aviv was actually really incredible, you know, at the time.
I don't remember his name, but I'm sure. I
think it was Elias.
Elias. Yeah. It's the same. Yeah, definitely the same guy. He put you on.
Yeah, no, and it was the people there were amazing, and it was a really good time.
Do you know what? It's a beautiful city. Tel Aviv.
Yeah,
it's very surprising.
Yeah, no.
Just your people's perception of Tel Aviv is totally wrong.
Oh no, completely. But I mean,
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's to see that. I mean,
it's incredible city, and you wouldn't have known there was troubles there really when we were there, except for
where we were.
Except for going in a club, the security,
with the metal detectors.
And they got the breeze. Yeah. They got the concrete outside, so they can't get rammed into the club.
Did you have that in the mornings? They took us to this place, and they were like, you've got to eat this snack that everyone eats in the morning. And it was like weird. It's almost a bit like yum-yums, you know, donuts, like yum-yums, like the long thin ones. But it was savoury, and it was like with fresh tomato sauce. And like that was the big thing. And it was kind of interesting. I think maybe something that you could kind of get to love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, it was an odd thing. It's kind of odd. It's kind of donutty, but like fresh tomato saucy as well.
Yeah, I did that.
You didn't do that.
I think
I said to an Israeli guy about it recently. He told me what it was, but I can't remember what it is. Anyway. Cool story, eh?
Yeah.
Savoury donuts.
Savoury donuts. Yeah. So,
Right.
Is that all the questions for them?
No.
There's some more.
Right. If you could. Right.
Also, Hired Goons are my all-time favourite tracks ever. So thanks again. Good question. no. There's Matt Dopamine. 44 seconds into For Lovers Not Fighters is one of the best sounds I ever heard. What is it?
Don't know.
We don't know, I'm afraid.
It's a sample.
I think it's a sample.
Somebody else's record. We had so little respect for their record that we sampled, we don't even remember.
I think we just thought that as well. We thought that is an amazing sound. We'll nick it. We'll nick it. Yeah. It's probably not that. It's probably not something that well known, to be honest. I mean,
Right.
Because we did actually. I don't know if we should say this really, but
No, I don't know.
okay. In the early days of music piracy, it was like SoulSeek, and we used to have a computer set up.
We were there.
Yeah, we were there.
We were there in the early days.
We had a computer set up in our
legal
computer and the side of the studio, and we're just fully downloading stuff. And it was just like loads of weird things, like krautrock. We were big into sampling then, and so all the krautrock guys are going out and like buying our records to see what they can spot. That and old new age records, disco, rocks, really weird rocks. It was just anything we could get our hands on, and we just sample. And it was just a lot of the times it was just things like feedback, and we put so much actual guitar feedback in our tracks, as builds and things. We used weird stuff like that, and not that that's weird. But.
Well, you're both bass players. You told me
Yeah,
earlier. 'Cause
yeah.
I thought you played guitar.
No, we were both
didn't.
bass players.
Both bass players.
Which always came to we all fight it out to see who
Who's
plays
gonna
bass
play
on.
bass?
Yeah, who's going to play bass on this bit? I'll play it on. You played on the last one. So yeah, because but I think maybe that also gives us, because a lot of it we are basically bass and rhythm obsessed. I suppose.
Right, yeah.
And that's where a lot of it starts from that way up. Our tracks, I guess. And then we just put decoration on top.
We just find stuff sampled.
Yeah, samples on top of it. Right, get a bass line done. But yes, it's a shame that we don't really play much bass anymore. I wouldn't mind rocking out the bass again a bit
Your
more.
bass is at my house.
Yeah, I know.
I don't play it. May as well be here.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it after this.
Just to geek out, tiny little
Oh yeah,
bit.
let's do that.
What do you use, like studio wise? What's your?
Well, we both have separate studios now. We split
I guess we got
split the kids up equally.
I guess we got the bass line's the same. We're Ableton guys.
Right,
basically, and
okay.
we have been for years. Like really since the beginning, and pretty much exclusively that. Occasionally we go, oh, let's try Logic for a bit, and then go, actually,
mate.
the thing is, Logic could sound a little bit better. Maybe in the sound quality.
Ableton even.
Logic could sound better than Ableton in
Oh,
the
do you think?
sound quality, possibly. But but the thing is, I don't think it outweighs the fact that we just have more fun making
The
stuff.
speed you can write in
and
Ableton
it's more
is so
fun. It's
fast.
just- you can throw stuff up more quickly, and we got someone like Pat who's really talented with EQing and like mix downs, and he can kind of make it. The difference is really not that much. I don't
On my
think.
gravestone, talented with EQ.
Yeah, well,
Regardless of what people say about him, he's talented with his EQ.
mix downs and stuff. So I think that bit is debatable how much difference it is. So it's for us, it's more easy.
I just don't know if
it's
I
just
know the
easy.
difference.
No, maybe not. That's what I mean. That again.
I
mean,
it's
you
ease
can't
of use,
say,
really.
yeah.
It's ease of use, I think, that makes it.
Yeah,
You can kind of
so-
jam a bit easier
Yeah.
in a
Just find it
Ableton,
more
I find.
fun.
And also because we use samples,
Simpler,
also it's really
Yeah.
easy
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like throw up samples
To mess
and
about
stuff.
with them, yeah.
Pitch, repitch.
But other than that, I
live time
think it's
searching and
was it
everything.
because like we said before, I think we always used to just always use. It used to be like a bass guitar and samples, and that was it. And then second album, we started buying loads and loads of synths and things, not really using them very much, and then kind of like selling them, buying more. Went on and on and on. And I think now we've got like Tom's got some of the synths left over from the last studio we had
Yeah.
together. I've sold everything of mine and just put it into a modular. So I've got this average size modular which I just use for fun. It doesn't really go on a record, but it's fun.
So what soft synths are you using?
And then just using quite a lot of soft synths and things really. And it's the samples still.
What soft synths do you use?
I quite like, because things I'm doing quite a bit of outside of kind of E19. I'm doing trying like kind of library music and production music and bits like that.
Right.
And for that kind of stuff, I just like things like is it Zephyr Serum?
Yeah.
There's another one called Spire. I really
Serum's
like,
wicked.
and a synth that I
got that.
hated
Okay.
for years was Massive, but I use it loads for this kind of stuff. When you get out of that kind of mindset of everything's
guess
got to
it's
be
quite-
different, everything's got to be hardware and all that sort of stuff.
Because it's quite tweakable, isn't it? Massive.
And it's just
pretty
easy. I mean, a lot of stuff I'm doing is that kind of like, I want some
That
quite
sound.
obvious sounds that are being used quite a bit. And if you're doing that, a little bit, it makes me slightly jealous of the people who who are usually up for that. I'm just using it because
it's commercial
and I can make money from it. You know what I mean? It sounds terrible, but I can go, oh shit, I don't have to spend 2 hours making a bass sound. I can just grab that preset and just use it. It says that and lots of again, because I do a lot of
He's making your son's making crazy like synth noises with his face.
Pterodactyl noises.
That's my synth in there.
Wob. Does he do wobs? He do wobs as well. Can you do a wob?
Yes.
What have you got to say, Arno? Do you want to say
What
something?
do you want to say? What'd you say?
Come and meet your fans. I'd like to tell everybody that Mark's son is wearing a Misfits t-shirt, which is pretty fucking cool. He didn't hear me swear because he's over there. It's fine.
Do you know the funny thing? I've got exactly the same t-shirt.
Me too. But for me, I've got that Matrix 1000 down there, like the rack mount, and I just use that on everything I'm doing at the moment. Just mainly because it's the only analog synth I've got, and it's nice for bass and all that. And then I've got a JV as well, a Roland JV, whatever it is. What's the second bit after it? And that's really cool for night easy, for cool glassy sounds and sort of. I really love those sort of sounds anyway myself. It's funny because me and Pat for years we used to hate that kind of thing, and then we kind of got into all these 80s, 90s synths with all those kind of bells and I just absolutely love them now.
Yeah, they're great.
And I use
the
that.
thing as well is like when we split up all our gear, it's like the synths that Tom got, I just sampled, and now I've got them anyway.
But Pat made an editor for the Matrix on the computer, so it's actually makes
you
it.
Get it online somewhere, some place.
You just tweak it,
not for purchase.
Yeah.
Me and somebody, I was just on some forum, and I went, it'd be wicked if you could make a thing for this, and this kind of really programming guy was just like, do you know what? If you design it all and lay it out and do all the knobs and work out what you want, then I'll work out all the kind of complicated stuff.
Awesome.
That's good, isn't it?
So he did it, did it, and I was like, do you know what? We should sell this for like the 13 people that own
the one that
and then he program was his job, and he said, there'll be conflicts with my work. So but you can get it for free somehow, somewhere cool, out there. Yeah, you can get.
Well, it didn't do Dada Life any harm when they done that sausage fat.
Lots of people use that, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, and there's Nicky Romero, the drum, the kick
thing. Yeah,
thing,
that's really good. I use that loads, actually. That's amazing.
Yeah, because
really good.
You can tweak every little part of it.
Yeah,
and change the key.
Wow.
So
you just don't have to bother looking for drum samples.
You just fill it out with that. It's amazing.
I need to do that then.
No.
I'm always like, that's like one of the hardest things, I think, finding the key of the kick drum sometimes. I know. Like trying to go, is this right? Like,
well, you can EQ different frequencies within the kick drum. That's what I just think is like, why didn't anyone think of that?
Yeah.
I don't know why. It was so obvious, but yeah. But
it's interesting. I think it's interesting. We work with different people. You see, have these little tricks and stuff. Some people have got really interesting tricks, and you don't really notice that until people do. Like my friend who I was making some tunes with last week, Luvian, who this guy was saying, he does this crazy. He always puts an EQ on his master thing, and it's really. I've never seen that before, but he talked about the sides. He tweaks the sides of the mix, so he kind of boosts up it's all about. So he makes it wider. When he puts the EQ on, I've never, all in the 10, 12 years or like 15, 16 years we've been making music, then. I never even thought of that,
That's because usually that's what the mastering engineer normally does that, doesn't it? It's one of those things, isn't it?
I think it adds to it, Mark, that your son's running around.
I think it's very authentic.
That's what we're about, Mark. Maybe people can feel that they're in my kitchen.
This is a real podcast.
This is like you can sense the vibes of the kitchen vibes. and my chippings.
And
outside.
I was just getting worried that my son might start throwing stones.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good. Next one. I went to see my friend last night, and his son's new thing is spitting at you.
Oh no!
And like, he can look at you, and he just goes like this. He completely spits, not like a tiny spit either. It's like a huge amount of gob on you, and he loves it. He thinks it's the funniest thing ever, and I can't help but smile at him after it. I can't be like, I don't know, he's not learned that way, is he? No, I'm trying to be bad, but I just have to laugh. It's not a very social skill.
Talking of like kind of pretty gross things.
Go on then.
Go on, I got to tell you this. Yesterday, me and Nadia went and had a drink at our local pub, and this guy came over, and I'd fallen asleep on a sofa, so we were just sitting there just chatting, and he was asleep. This guy came over and goes, "Oh, you know, they're lovely when they're that age," and da 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 da. He looked a little bit worse aware, just a little bit.
The guy, yeah.
And he was like, he just put his bag down and sat with us. Right?
No
right?
way. That was an interim.
And he seemed all right, and Nadia was chatting away with him. She goes, "Oh, do you want drinks?" She bought him like 3 drinks while he was sitting down chatting with us.
That's very generous.
And he threw up.
Oh,
He threw up.
all over your son.
No, he had
like that. Look, like that.
in the pub.
Oh, my
midday in the pub, just
good look, good
right,
look.
and then walked out. Like then
At least he walked out.
No, he went to the toilet, then walked out. He walked out and left his jacket, his wallet, his bag, everything on the
Amazing.
sofa next to us.
Amazing.
We were like, "Oh my
dear.
god!" I was like, "What have you done to him?"
Your mates. Nadia's mate was it?
Yeah, and then when we were leaving, I had to walk past him again because I saw him staggering back up the road when he realised he'd forgot all his stuff.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, "Oh, here we go." And I was like, "Hi, Roy."
She's like,
It's like the elephant in the room.
Bless him. Bless his little face.
Anyway, yeah.
That's a nice story from Mark Pemberley.
Yes, there you go.
Literally lowering the tone.
Yes.
Yeah, Mark
We
Pemberley.
lower
Lowering
the
the tone. It gets much worse than that, doesn't it, Mark?
Oh,
I know. Well, we
it's-
spent plenty of time together. I know we can
it
get to.
gets bad. When I done a Marvin.
Yeah, I bet. How was that one?
I mean,
I don't even
he
know.
spoke for probably about 2.5 hours, and I got an hour interview out of it where I had to edit all the bad shit out. I was just thinking, like, it
can't
just
put that
sounds homophobic, racist, it's derogatory, it's misogynist, it's just where he's got no filter.
No, that's it. Isn't it?
I was just cut all of it out. It's like,
I mean, he said something about. I don't know if I should say. Can you cut this
He
out?
doesn't.
Can you cut this out if you do say it?
I said to her, "I'll cut it out." He goes, "You didn't have to."
No, but maybe
he
you
doesn't
want,
even care.
Maybe you want to cut out what I tell you next, anyway. Because,
All right.
because he did this. I played on this. I mean, I'm laughing about it. I played on this boat party for Elite Force, and Marvin was there, and he did this mum joke on it, and my mum had died like 2 months before. And I knew he didn't like. You know, obviously he didn't know or anything like this. And like it was totally like in foot and mouth. But you know, like the next week he rang me up. He was going, "I'm so sorry, mate. I'm just like," and I was like, "Dude, don't even worry about it." You know, for me it was funny. You know, like and like, but he was just so mortified.
He would be more.
Yeah, because it's not what his, you know, that's his sense of humour, isn't it? And and it's not, you know, he's a really kind, sweet guy, really. And no, but I think he is. You know, he's a good man.
Yeah,
and
definitely a good man.
And he's more just the out. That's the.
He's just a funny character. He's just very outspoken, and outrageous.
Kind of, you know.
So, Mark, once when we did a gig with you in Sheffield at Urban Gorilla, we were really late getting back to the hotel, and I needed the really, really terrible shit. and I thought,
did you do?
And there was a. I basically did it in your toilet.
In the hotel
toilet. In a hotel toilet, and you got the blame for it.
Oh no!
Yeah. Did he? How what somebody from the staff said? There's a terrible shit in this toilet.
Yeah, she was going towards your room, and I blamed it on you.
Oh no!
I said it was you.
They were good, though. Those Sheffield gigs.
Oh yeah, somebody asked actually about that, didn't they?
Johnny Townsend.
What was that?
Johnny Townsend?
I mean, he asked. Yeah, Johnny Townsend. He asked because he knew what the answer was going to be. Basically, didn't he? He said, "What was your favourite long-term?" like club night that you played at, and he knew we were going to say Urban Gorilla because that at the time it was.
Many good nights?
Pretty much every one until maybe even near the end, even when it wasn't as popular, it still was amazing. You know, it was
a
incredible.
lot of after parties.
I mean, that was really why part of the time, wasn't it, as well?
Because we were social. We
all knew each other and everything as well, so it was really fun. And they had some amazing DJs along with us, you know. And not saying that we are, but you know, not that we were. But they used to have amazing lineups, wasn't it? You know, and I played with some of the most interesting people I've played with. I think in my time, you know, like Agoria one time and things like that, and
Timo Maas, Jason Belia, people
amazing people, really good, and the crowd was so up for it, and it was incredible, really
up for it. The Sheffield lot, weren't they?
So much, so messy as well, wasn't it? Really, but it was family away from home, really.
I think it felt like our first fan base as well. Do you know what I mean? It's the first place we played outside of Brighton regularly like that, wasn't it?
And it really was like, because I think it was that regular being up there all the time, and we played in. They had a lot of different venues, and each one had its own amazing thing to it. You know, Rolando played one time on the night. I think that was you. It was you, maybe. I think it was me and you downstairs. Us and you, That's me and you. Yeah, no, it was downstairs. It was in that white club. I think it was like all white on the side.
Yeah, like an igloo club.
And downstairs, George Street, I think it was. Maybe it was called. Yeah. And above, it was Rolando played in the floor above.
Yeah.
And
you got a good memory.
Yeah, well, I remember that one because we've talked about it with another, Urban Guerrilla crew at the time. But that club, I think, became like the home of Niche in Sheffield. Do you know what Niche is?
Yeah.
It's like, Niche was like when Speed Garage died, it still carried on living in Sheffield, and they called it Niche, and the club was called Niche as well. And like, so they carried on doing bassline house, in that club basically for years. But it kind of went a bit more R&B kind of, vibes. But so it's interesting.
Yeah, Sheffield, man.
Not that interesting, but a little bit interesting. Not as interesting as the earlier anecdote. Hey, folks. But yeah, no, Urban Guerrilla was of its time and just incredible. And I still think it probably shaped that time of that music of Sheffield.
And technique,
amazing. Also amazing. Wax on as well for us. I mean, Wax On was really. They were incredible as well. They did some incredible shows. I think also I played with like some amazing people at Wax On too, and Dan Blackledge, who was behind a lot of it, was amazing what he did.
Errol Laukin used to play a lot of Wax On.
Right? He did, and I was always like. I think I was always with Errol, because I just loved what he did so much.
Yeah.
That I was always really shy when I still met him, because I knew he wasn't really that into us, and because I knew that because we tried to get one of this is like loads of I never said about this before, but we tried to get Errol's Glam Racket remix of Franz Ferdinand for the our Fabric comp, and he wouldn't give it us, and and I found out from Henry. Oh, I don't know if I should say all this. I found out from another friend of mine who knew each other that he was just not keen on us. He thought we kind of we'd gone in and bit his sound, and that was what we were doing. But obviously he didn't really know us. He didn't know that we were always playing stuff like that.
Yeah.
We always mixed it up. We never just played straight breakbeats or anything. It was always just house, techno, breakbeats, old stuff, new stuff. You know what I mean? That's what we were keen on. And I guess that's what he did. So maybe he thought we were just trying to muscle in on his scene. People kind of get quite protective about their scenes, don't they? I guess
they do.
I did the rabbit fingers as well, like I did. The scene, rabbit fingers.
But there was some crossover there. I would have imagined Errol would have jumped on your stuff.
Well, that's what I kind of thought, but because I thought it was kind of similar, but maybe it was just the whole tarred with the whole breakbeat brush. It was funny because I think we did that whole bass, live bass with live-ish sounding drums way before Soulwax did it and stuff, and when Soulwax came out with say talking, we were like, well, this is what we've been doing.
It totally sounded like an
it totally did, and I mean,
which is kind of
which is cool. That's why we liked it, because it was
on
our tip, but the Soulwax guys never gave us any props or anything, or whether they liked our stuff or maybe they arrived at it from a different place. I don't know, or maybe they didn't know it.
Rights not to like it.
No, that's totally true. I mean, I think I always wanted them to like it. I'd loved it if they played our stuff, but they didn't. So, but that's fine. We don't mind.
Fuck them.
But no, they did some amazing stuff as well. But I think we were saying earlier on about, I don't know if it was on mic or not, about the hardcore continuum. That their scene went to shit just like ours did. So we're always we're brothers of scenes that have gone to shit. Just like the dubsteppers and the headbanger guys. Hey, let's hang out, guys. We know what you're going through.
I'll see you down the job centre.
Yeah. That's it. I see Benga down that way.
Benga.
Benga, bless him.
Really like Benga's new single.
Yeah, I mean,
3-track EP.
he's a good guy as well. When we met him a few times when he used to support us. Back in the day when Benga supported us. It's it's crazy. It's people even Will Saw. Will used to support us all the time. And you look at Will now. He's just totally killing it with Ouse, and rightfully so, because Ouse is an amazing label, I think.
It's a great label.
It's a really good label.
Yeah. Will used to be the warm-up DJ at Hum. Which was my night. And he used to just come up.
But he has always been
2 hours of just mental, really interesting
and
music.
that's that he came up through Bedlam Bedlam, which I was talking about the other day, which is really amazing. And Bedlam Bedlam was music. And you know how many amazing DJs came through? James Abelia, Yusuf came through that, and Radio Slave also. Matt Edwards, Matt Edwards did one. Because I know Matt through Brighton really, because he always used to. He lived in Brighton for years, and Serge did as well, who's now Waze and Odyssey. Serge Santiago, Waze and Odyssey now.
Because they were together.
They were, and then they fell.
Two of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then they kind of went in different directions and stuff.
Hello.
And and my housemates turned up as well now with the dog.
More kitchen
for more authenticism.
Well, I guess on that note, we'll wrap it up. Can I get some stings off you?
Yeah.
Sting it up. You're listening.
Is there any one question that we missed that we should maybe have done, which was
the easy one, isn't it?
What was that one?
If Pat could swap Tom in the studio, and Tom could swap Pat, who would they choose? It was easy. 1, 2, 3. Rick Rubin.
we only need 2 Rick Rubins, please. But he's a genius, and we still love him, and we love his beard too. So, and I think there maybe is any other ones quickly, which we did a joint favourite club. Bird Pat Dangerous on a skateboard. What's the tune that got me? So we got that one, didn't we? What's the story on the track listing? Fuck up on You Can Be Special Too. Somebody fucked up on the track listing.
Lack of quality control.
Do they still have the gimp suits? Which ones are they talking about?
I'm sure there was talk of gimp suits.
That's Jody.
Oh, you mean that gimp suit?
That was Jody Mechanoise.
Gimp suits. Jody. Well,
Dunno.
I don't know when he experienced gimp suits. We had a few experiences with mechanised characters. Maybe
that was an imaginary.
We played this crazy gig with him in Spain where everybody was massively chavvy and and in tracksuits and with shaved heads, and there was no women in the crowd.
Spain.
Spain. But actually, I since went back to Sevilla recently. So shout out to the Sevilla crew, who were amazing, and they did a crowdfunding gig for us. They got 30 people got together and got the money together to book us.
Oh, really?
And it was amazing. And it was they were awesome people. So thanks to them. That was an incredible night. But it's not all like that. I think breakbeat in Spain sometimes has a bad name because they get quite a lot of trouble.
Tough.
It's quite like the grime scene had a problem with it, in this country, while they get a lot of violence so people stay away from it because of
young kids on speed.
Yeah, but it's quite like macho, isn't it? It's quite a lot of machismo and
a lot of barebacking going on.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, for sure. So. All good. Nice.
All right. Goodbye. Listen, I really, really apprient you doing this.
It's been really fun. It's been fun.
I'll be careful what I leave in.
Yeah. Well, a bit of, I like a bit of what do you call it?
Controversy.
Controversy. That's one of our favourite Prince songs. Isn't it? You didn't ask us that. What's our favourite Prince song? What's your favourite?
Yeah, go on.
I Would Die For You.
I think I would say either Take Me With You or When Doves Cry, because it's just my earliest memory of Prince taping it off the top 40 with my dad. When Doves Cry, and it hasn't got a bass line, and that's probably a shit choice for a bass player, isn't it?
I've got to go for Cream.
Go for Cream. That's a good one as well.
Do you know what? I don't think I Would Die For You's got a bass line either, is it?
No, maybe not. That is amazing.
No, it's not. It's just like
so many amazing Prince tunes to choose from, isn't it? It's hard. Yeah. We should do our favourite Bowie one as well. What's your favourite Bowie? Fame.
God.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
Breaking Glass, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to go for. I don't know.
Rebel.
Not Rebel.
There's loads. There's tons, and they're all different from each other. That's the maddest thing.
Yeah, I can't think now. Shit, I asked the question too.
Didn't
I? Bowie. Oh well, let's forget about that one. Too long. Taking too long. We do everyone that's died. Favourite Lemmy tune, Ace of Spades.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, got me really
Ace of Spades. But yeah, amazing guy.
What other dead people tunes we got?
That was the man, wasn't it? This last year, losing three of my favourite people in music, like in one year. It's nuts, isn't it? And really, I think Bowie and Prince are definitely up there. Like, don't know.
Like Iggy Pop isn't going to make it to the end of the year, is he?
Oh my god! I hope
next
he does.
step. Isn't
I hope he does.
Like all the.
I think he's probably obscenely healthy now.
Yeah.
He's like I don't know. Maybe he's a good example about
bad living.
Yeah,
his tolerance is probably so high to infection and that. You know what I mean?
What a good guy. Okay, here's to Iggy Pop living another 30 years.
All right. So let's get a couple of stings off you.
What do you want us to say?
This is Pat, and this is Tom.
And you're listening to Lowering the Tone.
This is Tom from Evil 9. You're listening to Lowering the Tone with Meet Katie or bloody blah. Anything around that.
Do one and I do one, and then we'll do one together.
Hey, this is Pat from Evil 9. You're listening to Lowering the Tone with Mark Pembar.
People will be who?
Okay, Mark Pembar. Hi, this is Tom. I'm in Evil Lion. I'll start again. Evil Lion. I'm Pat. I'm Pat. No, I'm not. I'm Tom from Evil 9. And start again. Hey, this is Tom from Evil 9, and you're listening to Lowering the Tone with Meet Katie. Keep it locked. You've got to say keep it locked, haven't you? Yeah. Because that's part of the radio thing. Keep it locked. Hold tight for the next 2 hours. Keep it locked.
With a man like
okay. With the man like you're listening to Lowering the Tone with Meet Katie. With a man like Meet Katie. And this is Tom from Evil 9 saying you should listen to him because he knows what he's talking about.
I'll use all these, you know I will, won't you?
I got so many lame interviews, like with me talking loads of shit on it. And there's another one, hopefully this is better than most.
You're better than me. Whenever I do radio interviews, my mind wanders. I'm like, and I'm talking. I'm like, what was the question?
One time when I wasn't smoking. I stopped smoking cigarettes for 5 years, and one time me and Pat, those days, we occasionally go, we'd had a little bit of studio weed, and we go, hey, we got anything on today? And we'd be like, no, nothing on. Okay, so Pat would have a little pipe, and I'd eat a little bit of weed, I'd eat it, and when you eat it, obviously it's a bit dangerous, and I ate this little bit of weed, and as soon as I popped it in my mouth, I was like, oh my God, we've got that phone interview in America at 2:00, and I was like, shit, I've got this thing to do, and by the time it came around for the thing, I was so fucked. It was I literally psychedelic, tripping out, kind of. I didn't know what I was doing. I was saying to Pat, my God, okay, here's what we'll do is I'll go on the phone first and I'll try and get my shit out of the way quickly, and then Pat can take on the rest of the interview. So I went on this interview with this woman, and she was asking me stuff, and I was literally losing my train of thought through everything. So really my mind would wander off, and I'd be like, what was I talking? Yeah, and I was going on mad tangents, and I was saying things they were mini essays, all the answers to the questions, and I was saying shit therefore I conclude that, at the end of it all like this, and I could tell that she was really she didn't know what the fuck was going on, and in the end of it, when I came to the end, I was like, so do you want to speak to Pat now? And she was like, oh no, I think we've run out of time now with all your stuff. So Pat didn't even have to say a fucking word, and I was the most off my face. I don't even know if it ever came out of that interview. Probably not. No idea. It wasn't very coherent. So there you go. There you go. Dangers. That's the dangers of drugs, kids.
Quality anecdotes.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say before I finish?
No.
No.
I guess maybe watch out for transitions coming out soon.
Where can people get in touch with you? Yeah,
get in touch. Well, some people said.
Is it SoundCloud, Facebook, Twitter?
Yeah, SoundCloud. We've got all that.
Preferred?
Well, at the moment we're not really big on our Twitter these days, but we're using the Facebook a lot. Yeah. And so get in contact through there. We generally answer people's messages quite quick because we haven't got a lot of time on our hands these days. We've got a lot of time on our hands these days. And and soon we're going to have transitions out on our own label, Beyond the Fields We'll Know. Oh yeah, Pat's got some more information.
Here's your information via a text I sent someone else. Transitions is out on our label, which is called, what's it called?
Beyond the Fields We Know. Beyond the Fields We Know.
It's ridiculous.
With a cover drawn by yours truly, actually.
Someone did it.
The first drawing I ever did for Evil 9, apart from the sketches for the characters.
Yeah.
But this is the first.
Anyway, it's out on August 19th. There you go, Transitions.
I think it's actually on Spotify as we speak as well. because my friend alerted me to that already. So if you want a sneak preview, you can hear it on there.
You know why that is?
Why?
It's because it's August the 21st and it's out 2 days ago. And we didn't realise.
So yeah, you can buy it already. We haven't told anybody yet, but it's out there. And I think we're going to do a new mix, like maybe another. We've been doing this series of mixes called the Beat Tapes, which have been our take on breakbeat in the modern world. You know, because lots of kids are doing stuff, not calling it breaks, and we're just going to call it that and put it on the mix.
Ruin it for them.
We're going to ruin it for them and to make it less cool for them by calling it breakbeat. So we got these beat tapes coming out, and I think we're going to put a new one out in conjunction with this. Well, it's already come out so it's going to come out later than the single.
To the person on Facebook who asked, like, "Hey, where you been? What's going on with it?" And that's your answer. This is what we're like.
It's still here, but these days we don't give as much of a shit about it, so we're just putting stuff out. And if you want to find it, you can find it. We're just not letting anybody know, obviously. Basically.
That's keeping it underground.
We are, yeah.
But also, if you haven't checked our Mao Rasan offshoot and you're not aware of that, it's called Mao Rasan. So go and check that too, because I think maybe some of you will dig it too. So.
And what's there is all you'll get.
Yeah,
probably. I'm not sure if we'll do much more.
Yeah,
but,
awesome.
Yeah.
So check it out, peeps.
Thanks for listening if you're still here.
Yeah, there'll be someone listening.
Yeah,
someone, me person.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, man.
As always, thank you for listening to the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Evil Nine, what can I say? It was great to have them on, and I thoroughly enjoyed listening to them, and I hope you did too. If you want a track listing for the show, you need to go to the website. It's loweringthetone.london. Everything you need to know about what we're doing is on that site. Please share the link, spread the word. I know I sound like a broken record doing this, but we're trying to get somewhere with this. You know, the long form podcast. Anyway, Ben Coder will be back next episode with the highly entertaining DJ Up Chris, which is the other half of Nanoplex. And I think that's about it from me. Right, I'm gonna love you and leave you. I'll see you soon.
station, feeling the love that lives in the creation. I see the sun from my window, waking the whole world up. I wanna let go. I give it up for the sweet sound moving around my soul. I wanna get down. I need someone here to talk to. You and I could be the next ones to break through. 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 Whatever we do, with the sun on my face. Another night has come and gone. I want to never want for anything today, except someone here to talk to. You and I could be the next ones to break through. We got to break through. Oh yeah, break through. Break through. Oh, break through. Break through. Break through. Whatever we do, I wanna wake up with the sun.
The end.
Thanks. I don't know where we're going after that.